Asparagus.
Biscuit eater.
Plum
Sauerkraut in my refrigerator. I
Plum
had some sauerkraut I need to consume before I leave.
Yes, don't pack that in your bag.
No.
Yeah, good.
Good grief.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Emmett and Kelsey are out for the evening because of the fact that they have a company over from out of town.
Well,
So-
baby birthday.
Yes, their baby's first birthday. And then Landon is joining us from the shore, and Aram is joining us from, I think, her house.
Yes, my home. Because I am no feely goods and have not been feely goods.
That's okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yep.
My bank account will be screaming, but what you gonna do?
You gotta do what you gotta do. All right. So, would anyone like to recap us from our last session for Demon Inspiration?
I have no idea what we were doing. My head's been so full of house.
Okay.
Last I remember, we had killed the second hag,
Yes.
That's
Granny Nightshade.
and we had been divvying up the
And-
goodies.
Yes, we plundered, pillaged, and ransacked her entire place and everything we could get our hands on.
Everything that I could find in the
Oh, I remember now.
Yeah.
I remember now.
That was
I vaguely
several
remember
ago.
seeing
You got all the
like
way past. Now we're dealing with a giant. Last I remember, we had a big
That's
old
right.
giant coming our way.
Yeah. So,
that's
so
right.
He was
yeah.
Made it
So,
beyond.
so
it's coming
looting,
around the mountain.
yeah. So looting and everything like that. That was the session before. So last time.
Oh, so
Yeah.
did I
Yeah.
miss a session?
We're about to die.
My brain has
Maybe
halted.
we had a big old party here at my place a few weeks back, and there was a lot of wine going on. So maybe a few people missed a thing. Anyway, from my notes, last time we left thither on a small boat and re-entered hither with the help of Clapperclaw, who was our first guide. Shortly after arriving, we found ourselves at the inn at the end of the road, where we got picked up by Sue Harabacks, the innkeep. She and Stuart seemed to get along famously, sharing recipes and having a good old time in the kitchen. We ended up doing a long rest there, and it marched us pretty much clear across hither while everyone slept that night. From there, Squirt led us to an elevator that led us up onto a tall causeway that led into Yan. We crossed a long stone bridge there, and at the end of it, you found a strange group of notionally people.
Flower
There
showing.
was a dandelion knight who stands about maybe 3, maybe 4 feet tall if he's lucky, named Amador. And he was with his paramour, Pollinella, a grapefruit-sized queen bee that he had liberated from captivity, or so he claimed, and they were in love. Hanging out with them was an elven acrobat by the name of Gleam, who apparently used to be one of a set of performers at the Witchlight Carnival before she and her sister Glister were invited here by Endelyn Moongrave to perform at her seat of power. But it was all a trick because Endelyn Moongrave knows that she is supposed to be slain during an eclipse, and the theme that these two sisters, the Selenian sisters, have is that one of them, Gleam, is the moon, and the other one, Glister, is the sun. So Endelyn imprisoned Glister, the sun, and Gleam has just sort of been wandering around Yan ever since, trying to figure out some way that she can free her twin sister and get out of here. While all this was happening and being explained to you, and Amador was trying to figure out what to do about his lady love, Pollinella. The ground began to shake, and you heard this booming voice call out from you. And while not all of you understood the language that this being was speaking, you could sense its temperament. Looking up, there was a gigantic, he had to be at least 50-foot tall, Cyclops wearing a giant beekeeper hat, carrying a massive staff. The staff had to be about 60 feet tall or so, with a massive beehive hanging off the end of it. And he was basically pointing at the dandelion and like shouting loudly. Now, for my notes, the only people in the party who understand giant are Valena and Benito.
Great, convenient.
Yeah.
At least Benito's here.
Let's see here. Where's my music?
I remember the picture she posted on here.
I've
Given
got
that-
common, elvish, infernal, and silver.
Given that the story was told to us, okay, and we see this big fella coming, putting 2 and 2 together, this little dandelion stole this bee from this beekeeper, and he is rightfully going to be pissed about having his property fertilized, right?
He seems rather angry. That much you can make out without even needing to make an insight check.
Yeah, and you don't need to be fighting a giant for any reason.
Correct.
So, what do you do in place of fighting?
All right, so
Diplomacy.
Benito, seeing as how Kelsey is not here, we'll let you handle this. So, being as you're the other individual in the party who can understand giant, because giant is actually the native tongue of Malatista, where you spent much of your adolescence.
Okay.
Married. The giant is basically pointing down at the dandelion and says, "You stole Queen Bee. Mud Lump needs queen to make honey mead. Best mead in yon."
Hang on a
That's
second.
discretion back.
So
Time out. Point of information.
yeah.
Malatista?
Yeah.
I was a sergeant in the standing army.
Oh, I thought that you came from Astoria.
No,
Yeah,
former
you're from
sergeant Malatista standing army who carries a.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, you would understand this as well.
Okay,
You
well,
would
there you
understand
go.
this as well. Okay. Let's mark that on your character sheet.
It is on there.
Thank God
In
Benito's got his
organizations.
discretion back.
Well, no, I mean, let me mark
I
that
was
on
just
your
thinking the same thing.
character.
Yeah.
All right, so let me put that on here. That you speak giant.
Like, thank goodness he has his tact back, but has he really used it since?
He has not
Yeah.
used his tag. He's still trying to figure out how it works.
It hasn't come up yet.
Yeah, well,
Well,
Well, it's about to-
it's the used to not
about
having
to.
it.
And it probably hasn't. It probably won't come up.
That's a good thing.
It seems like it may have at this point.
Is that
So-
something we're going to have a problem with on lack of player knowledge?
Maybe.
oh.
That was fun.
So,
All right,
Alright.
wait.
landing.
Hello, friend giant. How do you do today?
There's-
Hey, I'm sorry. I'm gonna reach out and grab that dandelion by the arm and say, "Play along."
He's like holding his rapier in a shaking leaf right now, and like pointing it up at it, and he's like play along. Yes, quite. Well, what sort of play are we making here anyway?
Put your
I have no idea what he's saying.
Put your sword down.
Are you sure that's a good idea? I was thinking he might, if he goes to step on me, I might at least be able to prick him in the sole of the foot.
And you'll still be crushed.
Yeah, yeah. Put the sword down.
Oh, sorry. I can't speak.
Go ahead and make a diplomacy check. Or intimidation, as you prefer.
Intimidation. I got +4. 8.
8.
Not quite.
Is anyone else helping to convince
Yes,
him?
I'll assist with that.
I don't
What-
understand what anyone's
helping
saying.
what, how?
Benito
No.
assisted with the diplomacy check.
Yeah, if anyone would like to assist in getting Amador to lower his weapon.
I speak Sylvan just to
I'm just
dandelion.
gonna take it.
I understand the dandelion, but not them.
You just gonna snag his sword from
I
him?
was gonna take it. You said to put it down. He's not putting it down. I'm gonna take it.
All right, so you get what I'm doing here.
Go ahead and give me an athletics check to try and force him to lower his blade.
Okay. 12.
So you sort of jump on and grab his arm and you're yelling at him to put his blade down, and he's like, he's a flower, he's not super strong, and he's like, it's just like, this is
Let's go put it down.
an outrage. How am I supposed to defend Pollinella?
I say to him,
You're not gonna
Sylvan, I said,
defend nothing if you get squished and take us
you're
with
gonna do
you.
nothing to the giant other than get squashed.
So
Yeah.
as the giant's coming up
Relax.
amongst all this,
We'll trust
I'm
us.
gonna
We're
be
gonna
saying-
take care of this.
we caught the bee thief in Giant.
He says, "Oh, how did you know to catch him?"
Well, he had a stray bee, and you're a beekeeper. Put two and two together.
He almost drops the staff that he's holding as he's trying to work this out in his fingers. He says, I see that you are wise, small one. You have done well." He says, "Bee, come, we have mead to make." And Pawnella, seeing that you guys are like giving Amador a hard time, she's like buzzing around like Pickle's head, like, and you see she almost like stings you in the nose at one point.
Live to fight another day.
Okay, so you speak Sylvan, right?
Yes.
Okay, if you would like to try and get Pollinella to chill out.
Oh no. You need to calm down, otherwise we're all gonna get squashed. None of us are prepared for this fight. We play along, and we're gonna try to get us out of this.
Go ahead and roll me a persuasion check. I need to retrieve my dice. I left them in my bedroom.
19.
19? Yeah, that's good enough, I think.
Nice.
Yes. So she simmers down. Guys.
If you don't have to fight a giant, don't fight a giant.
Correct, yes. I agree.
Yeah.
Same logic as the dragons.
Yes.
As the smallest person in the party, I agree.
If it's 10 times your size, let it be.
Totally.
Let it be.
It's
Let it be.
Pun intended. Pun intended.
Oh. Everyone
You're
takes
bad
such
and you
a
feel
damage from that.
Yeah,
Like damage.
1d4 IQ points long.
Oh. I don't know where I put the initiative tracker, but hopefully we won't need it.
How can you miss that damn thing?
I don't know what I did. I think I dismantled it or something. I don't
Is
know.
it serving as a flagpole somewhere?
well, because we did have that party.
I think I counted 28 people.
And you try to put them all on the initiative tracker? Okay. Oh, you might have. Huh?
Maybe.
that was a good party.
Yeah. Golly. It'll be about typical for us. Okay.
All right.
So you while you're doing that, Valena steps in as well, and she lends her aid to you to help with calming the situation here, and she's speaking to the bee and whatnot, and Sylvan, and kind of supporting you and whatnot. So between the two of you, you guys managed to get the bee and Amador settled down, and Mudlump, he's kind of curious about this whole situation. He still feels like he needs some sort of vengeance against Amador. He's still pretty upset. So he is suggesting that maybe the appropriate course of action is me thinks Mudlump and Flower Man need to duel.
Oh.
Well, you know how them romantic types are. Sometimes they just get carried away. How about Flower Man helps you on your farm?
What is this romantic type you speak of?
Oh, these young flowers and whatnot and bees, they get along, just natural. That's where pollen comes from that makes the honey for your honey mead. So they maybe instead of running them off, they all need to get together and make more honey, more pollen and honey for the honeybee.
Making more honey sounds good.
Yeah.
Amador could be a great benefit to you.
Amador turns his. Amador just kind of looking at it like, and shake. He's like shaking his head like.
Well,
he's like
the giant can't understand me, but yeah.
Hey, Amador, work for the big man.
He says, but we want to run away and be free.
Why don't you stay there and have a good life and help out?
Yeah, I tried to tell him. I said, so what made you want to run away with Polynella versus just being with her where she was at?
Well, it's what kind of life is that? Being cooped up in captivity, and he's still getting weighed down by a pickle on one side, but it's like I cannot imagine my poor Polynella having to live her life out like a slave to laying eggs and making honey for this monstrous creature for all our days.
What kind of life
it's
is it?
Well,
It's not death.
Well, I explained to him that, because they can both understand me, that that kind of is her life, and her whole colony will die if she leaves them as well. They can't live and know what to do without
Stealing
their
the queen is murdering the colony.
You might have to discuss that with Polynella. I think she understands that.
So Helena, at this point, she's going to cast Speak with Animals, and she's sort of translating and whatnot.
Right.
And Polynella points out, she says, well, we do have plenty of royal jelly. They could always promote another queen. Besides, Amador and I are in love.
Well, then maybe you need to get another queen to take your place before you run off. Otherwise, you're going to be...
You know what to do without me. This isn't the first time this has happened. Well, maybe the first time for me, but still.
You do understand that workers are not very smart.
Well, why don't you be a little more crafty about how you go about escaping? Right?
You may understand this and be
says,
smart. They're
she
not.
says, my love isn't cruel. She says, I just don't think he understands what love is.
Maybe you need to get him a girlfriend.
Maybe it would make it easier if he understood.
Oh, maybe. You know any lady giants in the neighborhood?
Let's see. I'm reading here.
I'm already thinking about mead recipes.
Right? I know Benito is too.
What was that?
Stuart said he was thinking about mead recipes. I said, you probably are too at this point.
When you say that about finding him a love interest, Amador says, "Wait a second. I do remember hearing about a Fomorian woman who lives at the Palace of Heart's Desire."
There you go.
Oh,
What's a Fomorian?
it's a type of giant. So at this point, Amador drops down to one knee, which like causes Pickle to crash into the ground because I'm assuming that she's still grappling because she hasn't stopped.
No, as soon as she got the sword away, she let go.
Okay, well he kneels in the earth and he says, and he's like holds up his hand and like Polynella lands on his hand. He says, my friends, would you please explain to Mudlump what love is?
Oh, good lord. We're married too long.
Benito.
Someone explain to Mike what love is.
We
I wanna go with loving.
we don't know about the
Benito
other.
was singing,
Oh, he just told us
Benito
about
singing love
female
song before?
giant.
Benito has been practicing his performance. It is true.
Country flute music.
He was singing a love song.
Benito, you're fancy and good with the words, and I'm sure I don't know. I assume you've been in love at least once.
Maybe this other giant at the Heart's Desire.
He's singing up close, so he knows what it's all about.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So if you would like to explain what love is, because he's like, because he literally is asking is, what is this love you speak of?
So yeah, Benito will sing a love song.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you're singing a love song to him to explain what love is.
What? Look.
Exactly. There you go. Yep. Absolutely.
Give me a performance check.
There you go.
Love is a
Bard's
many
doing bard
splendid
stuff.
thing. Love.
Thank goodness we finally got a bard doing bard stuff.
He's not a bard.
That's the problem.
Somebody
He's not
just
a
play
bard.
him.
Yeah.
Dang it.
He's a,
Somebody just play him the Elephant Love medley from Moulin Rouge. There you go.
all right, here we go. Performance check. Come on up.
Love is a many splendid thing. Love lifts us up where we belong. All you need is love.
Doing a performance check, is he? He's doing a performance. Oh, that's the same
That
thing.
one.
Same thing.
What? What did you say,
That
Landon?
one.
He's +7. He rolled an 8.
That one.
So,
Oh, good hell.
Mudlump is kind of
Oh.
Mudlump is kind of scratching his head at the noise,
All right.
at the incoherent noise you're making. He says, if that is love, Mudlump no understand the appeal."
All right.
Mike's the only other one that can
Use
understand.
Gotta be a
words.
Okay.
He says, "Yes, use your words, not whatever that terrible noise was."
Benito and Mike Stewart's the only ones that can speak to him.
Yes.
Understand. So.
I'll throw in. All I got's a +1. 10 + 1 is 11.
All right, well that's better than whatever you got a second ago.
Benito just did.
Okay.
Don't make me do an interpretive dance. Because I don't know how.
That would be amazing.
That'd be no barbarian, right?
Actually, hold on. I say that, but crap.
I don't think people understand anything that's going on right now between them.
No, but like I imagine y'all are at least explaining what's going on.
Yeah,
No,
I would imagine so.
No, we're just
I
letting-
have a +3 to performance.
No, roll for it. Go for it.
Oh dear God, this can't go wrong whatsoever.
Can athletics help with that, or acrobatics? I don't know.
No. Well,
13.
yes, actually, you could average them out.
So okay, so we'll say that Pickle is pantomiming what Stewart is explaining.
That's good.
All right, and Amador is trying to help as well. He's still kind of shaking like a leaf, but he's trying to help pantomime this with Pickle as you're explaining for the giant Cyclops' benefit.
The height
Right.
difference is awkward.
You don't know what love is? No.
I don't know.
All right, so
Her father told lots of bawdy stories, so she might
True.
have some very skewed ideas.
Right.
so is he buying it at all?
I'm assuming that Pickle is just doing the what the hell's the name of that song? You and me, baby, ain't nothing but animals, so let's do it.
No, she doesn't even.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
She wouldn't know
touch.
what that even
Oh,
meant.
Bad touch.
Yeah. Okay. So you explain it, and Mudlump sort of pauses at this, and he says, "You small folk, you are not skilled at diplomacy nor statesmanship, but this love sounds nice. Mudlump would like love." It says, Mudlump tells you this: find Mudlump a love, and you may have your love.
Deal. We'll do our best.
He says, "Very well. Well, now that that's settled, you must come back to Mudlump's place, and we will have mead to celebrate Mudlump's future love."
It's the best thing I've heard all day.
Yeah.
Wait, did we actually pull this off?
So,
Yes.
Yes.
Somehow.
What?
Now we got to go drink giant
The
mead.
appeal of the average.
Yes.
Okay. So, having survived this encounter, You guys return to his home, which is sort of a tumbled down, moss covered ruin of a stone tower that once protruded from a mountainside. It looks like this thing is probably about 100 feet in diameter.
Stonehenge?
No, that's a different place.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I'm not sure if it's actually depicted on this map.
I think it's just that star, isn't it?
He lives. I don't think it's actually depicted. We'll just say that he lives down around here. That seems like a good spot. 'Cause I haven't.
That works.
Okay.
Any place else that's any better?
Well, it's that cave that's going under the rocks, like below that star, but I don't think the giant would fit down there.
It's gotta be something
probably
with
not.
that. All right.
Right now. We'll just say he's down around there. So, at his home, you see that he's got what for him is probably a small garden that he's cultivated. And in the garden are 3 fat, like 20-foot tall mushrooms. And he bids you guys to make yourselves at home on like moss-covered rocks and whatever else you find. Like some of the paving stones and stones he has edging his gardens, or may as well be like benches to you guys. You know, they only come up to like maybe his ankle or his shin, but for you guys, they may as well be, nice tall stone benches. And you see him go up to one of these like huge fungi that he's got over there, and he lifts up the cap on one of them, and it's actually a lid. It's almost like a big lid that's covering a barrel, and he reaches in with a ladle and lifts it out, and he says, "Prepare thy vessels."
What?
And he tries to pour some of the mead into whatever vessels you guys are holding out, and it's a pretty good. He's trying to be careful, but it's still like for every gallon he pours, like maybe a couple ounces make it into your vessels before they're finally filled
we're
up.
gonna need baths after this.
So, so you do find like a number of ridiculously large ants are sort of taking an interest in and milling around you, and until he starts flicking them away with his finger. And these ants are about the size of like my love seat. So he says, oh, they do love the sweets. Always a trial keeping them at bay.
Yep.
Yeah. We're probably gonna need to rinse off after this.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Is there a stream or anything nearby? Or a fair body of water?
Indeed there is. To the south of here is a large lake that you may wish to avail yourselves of.
All right. I commit to consuming as much of the honey meat as I can possibly do with it, and realizing how much to take
the amount of
swim.
So the amount of mead that he poured out is probably greater than your body volume.
Yeah.
There's several you put together.
Yeah, so there's going to be a little bit of pantomime involved in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as you guys are drinking this and trying not to adhere to the scenery or to each other, he takes a seat on a 20-foot tall stump and is he's just musing about what he imagines like love must be like.
It's sweet, like honey.
I'll give mine
This
to.
sounds most favorable.
Yeah, and when we come around, if we can find you a girl, we're going to have to explain to you about the birds and the bees.
He says, I know well about the bees, so I will let you explain to me about the birds.
Indeed.
The only birds I know are those cranes that like to fly to the palace.
Cranes
What
that
cranes
like
are
to
these?
fly to the palace.
Oh, I can't speak to him. Never mind.
No.
What cranes that fly to the palace?
Yes, there are some smart-ass cranes who like to travel around here like they own the place.
Big cranes, little cranes, cranes are playing on rocks.
Little cranes, but bigger than you.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll watch out for them.
Yes, see that you do. They might be able to eat you. I'm not sure.
Cranes being what they are, they might try. All right. So,
I give my
after
mead to anybody but me.
What?
drink the mead, drink the mead.
He says, "Do you not like that one? I have different ones." And he goes and he lifts up
What?
another
No, no,
mushroom,
no, no,
tucks
no,
in, and he pours some more out for you. And this time, he's had some at this point. This time, you
no.
take a mead bath.
Always
You are
indulge.
completely soaking.
Always indulge the host.
He says, "There, see if you like that better."
Yeah.
Good
See,
fucking sing it.
thank
Don't
you.
drink the alcohol.
He likes that a lot.
He says, "Drink up. It'll put hair on your chest."
Ew. Wait, what do you say?
I do sample the meats, but I'm not.
I'll take a sip, but like the rest of us gonna be faking it because she's not a big fan of the alcohols.
Well, I'm a sergeant, so.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the alcohol.
All right.
Yeah.
You know what?
Belinda looks like a drowned rat at this point. But her hair is blonde and full of flowers now, which Pollinella is availing herself of.
We need to get
Pip.
to that lake.
Pip managed to. He stayed at a distance throughout this whole thing, so Pip is still pristine because he was not about to get his fur matted with stickiness.
That was Wexley that was paranoid about getting his fur dirty.
I feel like Pip would share in this sentiment.
Any furry critter's
That's
gonna.
fair. That's fair.
So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Unless you're Winnie the Pooh and he don't care very much.
No.
No, he does not. All right. So you guys spend a good amount of time here at Mudlump's house. So there's a number of bees that are buzzing around you guys the whole time you're here, and they're not quite as big as Pollinella. So they're, instead of being grapefruit size, they're maybe like the size of apples, or some of them about the size of oranges.
Mm-hmm.
They seem happy to see their queen here again, and she and Valena spend a lot of time talking with them, and it sounds like she's from what Valena intimates to the rest of you. She says, "We're trying to explain and discuss the process by which to give an unhatched larvae the royal jelly to promote a new queen, but some of them are a little bit slow. I'm thinking that maybe they've been partaking of some of the produce, so to
That
speak."
can happen.
Yes.
You got some of that old honey.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
I'm starting to feel a bit tacky and sticky. I think maybe we should check that lake
That's
out.
what I was saying. When you get to that lake, and that tacky, sticky thing doesn't hang for long.
Yeah.
It is true. So you spend about as long as you can here before deciding to take your leave. For now, Amador and Pollinella are going to stay here, and Valena's going to stay with them just to help translate. And make sure they don't get themselves in trouble while you guys are doing your thing. Okay. And we'll say that Pip stays with her because they're like best buds.
Yeah, but other than Pip, were we not all covered in meat?
You are correct.
Okay, well,
So,
anyway, Stuart and I
I
are
was
going to go clean
also.
up.
Who has that prestidigitation thing?
Oh yeah, Benito.
Oh yeah, that's
Benito can
true.
do that.
Benito can do that.
We don't necessarily have to go wash in the lake. Benito can rid us of this, I think.
Although it might you take an actual shower.
Yeah. Taking an axle will probably be good after that. So,
I mean, he can clean our clothes and armor and stuff up, but a bath would actually be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Along the way, I'm gonna look for any sort of waxy leaf soap plants.
I can help with that. And I've got nature and stuff like
I'll
plants that
use-
make like soap or whatever that would be good for
Yeah.
like bathing. But
Yeah, I think a few of you have soap actually.
I
Well,
think
hopefully-
I do. If I don't, because I'll
and,
just pull my
and to make sure that we
survival.
don't grab plants that are poisonous or toxic. That
Dude,
would,
I actually have poison ivy growing in my
yeah, you showed me.
in the island back here around the patio.
Go figure.
I'm like, they plowed everything over when they built this place. I'm like, where the hell did the damn poison ivy come from?
Because it was some that plowed over and that seed went
Yeah, it was
more than
underground,
6 feet
yeah.
deep and it can come right up.
Yeah, so we had to blast that with some brush be gone or whatever the hell's called.
Right. Well, I'm gonna roll a survival check, and I got a 7 plus 4, which is better than nothing.
Can I help with survival or
You
nature?
certainly may.
You can certainly try.
Got a 7. Total?
Yes.
I got
Plus-
11,
plus-
so
plus
total.
five.
A 7
To
and
be
11.
fair, you're drunk.
Yes, you guys
Yeah.
are pretty warm and toasty. In addition to being sticky, so yeah, you aren't necessarily finding anything that looks like it could be used as soap. You do find some rock. You do find some flowers that are growing rock candy though.
We've got soap in our bag, you yutzes.
You got soap? Okay, let's do that. All right, so we're gonna head on down to the beach, as it were.
Yeah, we're
Yes.
Oh yeah,
You guys,
right. Yeah.
you guys head on down to this lake here, and it is crystalline and pure. And as you're approaching it, give me some perception checks, if you would please.
Everybody?
Sure.
Me, I'm rolling for nothing
That's
today.
better. 20.
11.
13.
Okay. Landon, what did you get for perception?
There we go.
I'm gonna switch dice out here.
4.
A 4. Okay, so Landon is too drunk to see anything, but
I'm drunk, but
But
the
as
ranger. Yeah.
as the rest of you are attempting to peel off your sticky clothes,
You gotta wash some of them too.
yeah, Zalric looks up to the sky, and you see these yellow golden objects on top of the mountains all around here.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Well, as you're watching, you notice that they've been getting struck by lightning regularly. And each time they do, they seem to glow brighter and brighter. And finally, as you guys are approaching the lake, you hear this deafening, and all the lightning rods you see around just start arcing from one another away to the north. It's like they're transferring all their energy to each of them to the next one to the north, and all the energy arcs away to somewhere in the distance. And you hear each time it does, you hear a loud boom, and then they become dim again as they've discharged all their power for the time being.
Remember where that was all pointing.
Yes. I seem to be channeling the lightning
Yeah.
north.
Correct. The elf twin girl who's been with you, Gleam, she is also in a sticky predicament as well. So she feeling somewhat shy around strangers. She just sort of wades into the water on her own before stripping down. And as she's in there, she's kind of like in the water now and like rubbing her clothes against each other and using some soap that Pickle offered her. She looks off in the distance and says, "My friends, what is that?" And she points behind you guys, and looking further down the coast of this lake to the west, you see what appears to be some sort of a pageant wagon, like you might expect to see at a festival or a circus, that is trundling its way along the lake in your direction.
Does it look familiar?
Give me a perception check, Tickle.
Zark's gonna say, we'll check that out
12.
after I get out of these sticky clothes, and he's gonna ask Finito to prestidigitation the clothes, but he's gonna peel them off and walk into the water and actually bathe.
It was 12.
Well,
I mean, I can roll.
Your eyes are a little bit bleary because you're not used to drinking, and it is kind of dark here, especially now that the glowing lights have faded from all these lightning rods. But you're squinting, and it doesn't look like pickle. It doesn't look like Melon's cart.
Aw, dang.
So
it looks different. It looks more open.
So would it be history for that? Because I can always.
Yeah, you can make a history check if you like.
12 as well.
You don't know. Maybe it's like a puppet show or something. It's hard to say from this distance. But as you guys are making way. Oh, by the way, did you strip down before getting into the water or after?
Before.
I did after. Because and I'm not entirely because the honey is on the clothes more than anything else. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't dress down completely unless you're in a known secure environment.
That's fair.
That and Pickle's just like doing her best to not look at people getting naked.
I'm a bit drunk and anyway, because Venito's gonna take care of the clothes.
So, Glister seems, as you're stripping down and whatnot, Glister kind of like biting her finger and raises her eyebrows like, and she swims over to Pickle and she says, "My little green friend, what do you know about that tall, dark, and handsome Shatter Kai?"
What?
Oh dear God.
Okay.
I roll my eyes.
I'm paying no attention to this.
I roll my eyes audibly.
she'll like start to look and then remember he's naked and not look and like why?
I'm paying no attention to them. I'm just taking them down.
Well, she says it somewhat escaped my notice at first because of the dire situation and concern for my sister, but he's quite the good-looking fellow, wouldn't you say?
I mean, I try not to look at people naked.
But that's the best time.
That's not in the book. I know that's not in the book.
I mean, if it's your sick, you can always go tell him or say hi. I don't know.
She said she just covers her face at that point and just goes underwater and you just see bubbles coming up for an uncomfortably long time.
She'll pull her back up. Hey, don't drown.
Oh, watch where the bubbles are going.
just okay. What you want to know? He's a good guy. I don't know that much, but he's a good guy.
So there was a suspicious wagon, he says, changing the subject.
Yes, the suspicious wagon draws ever nearer. At this point, it's only about 100 feet away or so, and it continues progressing until it's pretty much about as close as it can get to you without, like, removing itself from your area by moving past you. Once it reaches about where you guys are, like it stays on the shore, but once it reaches your vicinity, you can see that it's not being drawn by donkeys or oxen or any sort of creatures at all, actually. It's just sort of trundling along on its own on these big squeaky brass wheels. And it's accompanied by a tall figure that's swathed in long robes and a cowl. But the wagon itself is painted with a stormy, windswept landscape, and it seems to have a puppet theater with black velvet curtains drawn across it.
Puppet theater mounted to the thing?
Yeah, so this wagon is a puppet theater.
But up on top of the wagon is this hooded figure.
Yeah, so there's nothing there's no creatures or anything that you can see
Mm-hmm.
that's drawing the wagon.
Somehow
No beasts of burden.
magically-
It seems to be self-propelled, but walking alongside is this tall, willowy figure garbed all in
Oh,
black.
he's walking alongside.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Huh.
And as it gets to you, the tall creature reaches up with a pale wand hand, grabs the silvery pull cord, and pulls it down, drawing open the velvety black curtains. And inside, you can see that the interior has been painted to reveal a backdrop that matches that of Jan. So it's got like this the still life, or a matte painting basically, it looks like, of all these mountains around here. And you can see it with these marionettes that's got. And the marionettes resemble each of you.
What?
Oh, that ain't creepy enough.
And they begin dancing on the stage and reenacting your time that you've spent in here so far. So you see them, like your little marionettes, hopping across this bridge and cavorting with the cowardly dandelion knight and the buzzy little bee, until this massive figure, and it only shows the legs of Mudlum. He's like this pair of legs wanders over, and there's just like this big booming noise as if to represent it speaking, and all the little marionettes are cowering before they reenact your little attempt at performance and discussion, and then all the marionettes follow the big legs back to a stony enclave with lots of brightly painted flowers, and the marionettes all, there's like sheets of like yellow silk that are dropped from above and fall down over top of each of the marionettes, and the marionettes are flailing about trying to get these sheets of yellow silk off of them before they end up leaving there and wandering, and all the marionettes are diving into a silky pool that has like these little waves moving back and forth in it, and they're like now wading in amongst the waves, just as a little gilded carriage rolls up near them.
What? That was creepy.
Have we seen anybody here yet?
What do you guys
I'm
do?
gonna finish a bath, dry off with the other shirt that's in my pack, and
Anybody got a
get
fireball?
dressed.
This is just,
Before I do anything, I'm gonna put my clothes back on.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
kind of getting my gear together, but
Yeah.
so they're just giving us a show here, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And
Pickle's gonna climb out the water and do the, how like dogs and whatnot like dry off.
yeah, so she just shakes.
Yup.
Yep. And as you're doing that, you see one of the little marionettes up on stage, a little green marionette with its head is about like 3 times as wide as its body, and it's just like.
Hey!
And then there's like a little one. It looks like he's got like tin foil wrapped around him. He's kind of like barrel shaped with like a little tiny head, and he's got his arms just kind of stand out at the sides, almost in like a T pose, and he's just going like, he's just like shaking a fist and like waving a little cruciform sword as if he's protesting this sort of treatment. And you also see these 2 tall, like thin looking marionettes, one with long white yarn for its hair, and then another one that resembles Gleam, and they're sort of like swimming around each other, with the one with the yarn hair seemingly oblivious to the other one circling him like a shark.
All right, how big are these marionettes?
They're about like most of them are about like this tall.
And the creepy dude running the show is just hanging there running the show, right?
Yes.
He hasn't said a word.
Has not said a word.
Has not pointed to a
we
tip
see-
jar.
Do I see any strings or anything like that?
There was the cord that the pale, like dark robed figure pulled at the start of it, opened it, and this whole show goes on for about 3 to 5 minutes or so, and at the end it goes and it slowly walks to the other side and pulls a different cord, and the curtains close, and instead of being all black now it's brightly embroidered, and it says to be continued.
Creepy at all.
All right,
And then
because that's pretty much where we're at right now.
that is pretty much where you're at right now. The pale figure then leaves the cart and reaches into its sleeve and approaches whomever is closest, which I'm assuming is probably either Stewart or Pickle, since you guys are more on guard.
All right, and I am very on guard, and I've been on guard ever since I was creeping out of the water. The first thing I put in my hand and secured was the wand of magic missiles that has hopefully regained some charges.
Yes.
So when he reaches into his sleeve, I'll whip out and say, "Hold it, slowly."
You slowly remove something from it, and it prefers to you what looks like a golden ticket.
A golden ticket.
A golden ticket.
And it's got a cartoon drawing of your marionette on it.
Well, no one want to know about legends. You never turn down a golden ticket. I'll take that.
All right, you take that, and then it goes over to Pickle, and it repeats the same thing and hands her a golden ticket, and it's got a little Pickle marionette on it with a kind of football-shaped green head. It looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Then it ends up wading into the water. Although somehow its robes don't seem to get wet, like it doesn't get soaked or anything, but just wades into the water, and it hands each of the rest of you a golden ticket as well.
I don't really have anywhere to stick this ticket right now.
You said you were putting your clothes back on.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And when you
Just glance.
Yeah.
and you can see that underneath each of your effigies on each of your tickets is a script that says, "Good for one private audience with Endolin Moongrave, no strings attached."
Aww.
And when you look up, you see when you look up after the figure delivers the last ticket and makes its way back up onto shore,
Mm-hmm.
it takes out another 2 tickets and lays them on the ground. And as they slip from its fingers, the whole thing just disappears. And
Oh
vanishes.
man, I was
Don't
gonna
look.
give him one of our shinies, cause
So
he
the other
gave us
ticket,
stuff.
so the other ticket has it looks like a stuffed rabbit wearing an overcoat, and it's got a kind of like derpy looking elf girl on it with their tongue sticking out like, and she's got like flowers in her hair.
Derpy looking. All right, I'm gonna tell him you said that.
Yeah.
She's like,
Okay. Well, that's interesting. So I imagine this is the person we need to go see.
That's sister of the hags. That's the other hag.
So this is a hag,
Yes.
and this is the hag of this vicinity.
Yes. That's the only.
So we get a free audience with the person we need to kill.
Correct.
Okay.
Private, or I guess we could use them at the same time as we chose to.
That's what I was thinking. I was wondering if we could do just sort of all show
It
up at the
says
same
for
time.
free private audience, but We might be able to talk her into letting us at the same time.
You never know.
So,
I wonder why they gave us these tickets. Could it possibly be a trap of some sort?
Yeah, probably.
Eric looks at
Oh,
Glenn and
these
goes,
are-
that was quite an interesting ongoing, wasn't it?
These are railroad
She,
tickets.
okay. She looks up from what she's been studying and blushes. She's like, "Oh yes, yes, very interesting.
I feel quite refreshed after this bath. How about you?
I am." And she just dunks down below the water again.
David quit trying to make her blush.
Go
I
talk
don't think you're
to
sensitive
her.
to one damn bit.
Well, that was the other one who'd lost his sense of propriety.
Exactly.
This guy lost his sense of direction. Maybe he is lost in matters of love.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
All right, so we get all clean and spiffy, and we got our golden
Go back
tickets
out, put
out.
my clothes on. Yeah.
I'm
I
wondering
gotta
how
go
we,
take it.
where are we going next?
Let me take a look here.
I'm gonna cook up some dinner while we're waiting, figuring out what we're gonna do. Just because I'm a boy and I think we must.
So, as you guys are looking around, there are two sites near you that look intriguing. To the northwest.
Dirty dishes.
Oh, that's Stonehenge.
So to the northwest, you see a place that looks like a Stonehenge on top of a mesa that doesn't look like it'd be too terribly difficult to get to. And then to the southeast of this lake, there's like some sort of unusual, I'm hesitant, escarpment, edifice. It's hard to tell. It looks natural, but it's like it was carved out of the
like
out of
a
the
carved cliff.
Well,
kinda.
does it actually have, are those actual lights?
Let me pan the map down. I don't think it panned down far enough. There we go. Yeah, so off to the west, over near Michael, you see this henge on top of a mesa near you. And then in the opposite direction, on the opposite side of this lake, is this. It almost looks like a natural castle
built
of
into
sorts
the
with
rock.
like natural chimneys and whatnot.
Mhm.
So that looks like somewhere where people or someone might be. Might be worth checking out.
That one might be.
Information about Jan and the areas here.
Yes.
Yeah,
Let's
the
check
other
it
one
out.
Looks like, anything that looks like Stonehenge looks like is trouble.
We need more knowledge about this area, and then we can decide where to check out. I
Yeah,
would say we go.
yeah. Go where the lights are.
All right. So it takes you guys about another hour or two to make it over there. This place isn't exactly like a normal world where everything is conforms to the surface of the sphere. So you can see things from a greater distance out than you might be able to back in the material plane. But you make your way over there, and it becomes more lush as you get there. There's some small trees and shrubs. Granted, some of them are growing candy canes, but it's still nature-ish.
Right. Are these peppermint candy canes?
They're peppermint and spearmint candy canes, depending upon the type of tree from which they grow.
I'll take a couple.
Yeah.
Any double mint?
So as you guys begin,
No, he didn't hear you. He said, any double mint?
I think he just
Double
chose to ignore that.
I think Benito's looking to double his pleasure.
Oh
his fu-
dear God.
Yes.
Man,
wow.
Yeah.
Straight back to the 80s with all of you.
Yes.
dude.
Never.
The 80s was my heyday.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the 90s more myself.
Mine,
But late 80s, 90s, yeah.
Harsh
Good time.
pain in the butt. the early 90s were cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. After December 20th, 1995, they just went downhill from there.
But that's for another discussion.
That is.
Okay.
All right. We're going
Let's
to
see
this
here.
castle town.
All right. So as you're approaching this this structure, you start to hear the sound of hundreds of tiny pickaxes and hammers chipping away at stone. It emanates from the mouth of a cave that has fingers of rock reaching skyward above it. Statues of irate, hairy creatures with cloven hooves are positioned so that they lean around trees and peer over boulders, all staring balefully at the cave entrance. Let me see. I think there's actually a picture of this. Let me see if I can find it here for you.
Dig, 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 we dig all day through.
Where is the picture? No, not that picture. A different picture. Ah, here we go. Open image, a new tab. To do it. Oh, here it is. Okay. Let's break that out. Move that over. There you go. Okay, so here, hey, phones.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here you can see all these statues of like little hair. They look like they've been carved to resemble hairy creatures with cloven hooves. And these little statues are all just kind of glaring at this at the cave in the middle.
Do we recognize what kind of
these ain't
creatures?
statues.
Do we recognize what kind of creatures these are, or whether they?
Give me a nature check.
These ain't statues.
As someone who once was one, we should probably listen.
Nature check, but that ain't statues. And get a perception check on
Yeah, you can give me a perception check if you like.
Nature was a 9.
that? 10 plus 4, 14.
Mm,
They're either really good statues or they're not statues.
Insight.
So these things do not seem to react to you guys at all. Eleanor, you think that these look like Thursday. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's all right. Different campaign.
Yeah.
They look Fey-like, but you can't quite place them. They're definitely not native to any area of the Shadowfell or the Feywild that you've called home. You're not sure what they are or what they're supposed to be. Stuart, you're having a look at them, and if these things aren't statues, they don't seem to be reacting to you at all.
No, I mean they don't. I'm not saying they're not made of stone. I'm saying they're not statues.
Well, they don't seem to be reacting at all.
No, I mean I understand they're not reacting.
You're like
I'm
petrified.
saying they were petrified. I don't think there's carved statues.
It's a possibility.
So I'm gonna look one of them in the face real close and see how good that carver was.
Okay. So you're looking at him in the face. Let me see.
I'll help him and do investigation, I guess.
Yeah, that's good. Give me investigation checks.
Actually, I think I do have something on
That's more
That's
appropriate.
better. 24.
Okay. Let's see what Stuart gets.
that. Oh, I only have a +1. Yeah.
Well,
Man, I'm sucking like 10.
so Stuart is glaring at these things, something fierce, and
Are you
looking-
thinking something, Stuart?
I'm just
Look
being
at him.
suspicious. I ain't seen
And,
a clue yet.
Whereas you're looking at these, and you can see where it looks like they've been chiseled out. They're not perfect. Like there's a few of them where like, you know, a couple of them were like missing a nostril, or somebody like looks like they hit the hammer wrong. and there's like the hair is just kind of real rough. It doesn't look like real hair when you're right up on them.
It looks like chisel.
It looks chiseled more than something that's been petrified.
Because we've been hearing these
So
rocks.
I point that out to
Yeah,
him. It looks
okay.
like
these things
have been knocked off.
These things
and
look
stuff.
like they've been chiseled rather than petrified.
Because I'm seeing cave entrance and stone dudes.
That's a good.
So the other thing that you pick up is none of them look scared. They all look angry and kind of ferocious. They all look like they're kind of intimidating, or at least trying to be intimidating.
They don't look like they're scared of the cave, but angry.
Okay. So maybe these are carvings of the bad guys who. All right.
Or these are maybe the bad guys are inside. We'll find out. Hopefully
We'll
not.
find out if these get animated.
So,
All right. So after wasting a little bit of time on that, what do you say we go into the entrance?
Yeah, we approach the entrance and investigate that as well. Make sure if there's no traps or any kind of weird.
Okay. Is there any particular marching order that you guys would like to place yourselves in?
Oh, that's not suspicious at all.
If he's gonna be that nosy, I'm gonna get my shield up and be defensive.
Yep.
And be ready to shield him against anything.
Well, so for investigating that, would it be more survival or nature? Or just investigating the cave and looking for traps or anything?
I would say probably survival or perception.
Either way, I've got +5 either way. So
okay, yeah. All right, so we're putting Zalric up front then?
Yeah.
And then Stuart, you're backing him up?
Yep.
Where's Pickle and Benito then?
Probably bringing up the rear together. I don't know.
Yep. Oh,
Get
yeah.
my hammer out.
Kind of shoulder to shoulder behind us, I guess.
Sure.
Squishy hat belt will be in the back.
I mean, shoulder to knee, maybe.
Right, true.
Okay.
Yeah. So survival.
Well, Pickle can watch our 6. Pretty
I've
effective.
got my hammer out.
So Gleam is going to stay in the middle. And Pickle is behind. I'm guessing that Pickle's bringing up the rear.
I would think so.
Okay, so we'll say Benito and then Pickle. So Zalric, Stuart, Gleam, Benito, and Pickle. Okay.
Alright, large.
Good. What?
Oh, we lost
Changing the music. That's not a good idea. That's not a
I
good thing.
was changing the music.
Oh, okay.
We're in trouble.
Okay.
As soon as you step inside the cave, the tapping noise stops.
Sorry.
Tapping noise?
Okay, I was tapping and then I stopped. So
Was it the?
No, it was the.
Well, the sound of mining. It sounded like pickaxes and hammers.
Pickaxes, tink, tapping.
Yeah. Mine was the master from Doctor Who.
Oh, how do we do this? Don't go in like robbers. Go in like lost guests.
Yeah, we're being precautious and I'm checking things out, but yeah.
Okay. So the mine appears to be a twisting labyrinth of 8-foot high, 3-foot wide tunnels that seem to corkscrew into the ground. So you guys, the ceiling is not too terribly short. It's not exactly claustrophobic, but there's some, if you hold your elbows out, you can brush both walls at the same time with your elbows, or in Pickle's case, like her fingertips.
So it's very roomy for Pickle.
It's roomy enough for Pickle. So the rest of you, this
is basically a working mine / interior structure.
Mm-hmm.
But when we enter, they seem to.
Well, yeah,
stop
I'm sure
mining.
they got folks all over the place inside here.
Stuart, give me a perception check.
12 plus 4, 16.
Okay, you've got a pretty good sense of smell, and you can smell what smells like manure in every now and again, and you can see some a few piles on the ground from time to time.
Donkey size?
About that size, yeah.
Okay. I'll explain how I know that later. All right, watch your step. But is it going in a particular, or coming to or from a particular direction?
So the weird thing is they didn't actually give any maps of this place. So we'll just have to do this theater of the mind stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
strange.
Man.
They skipped on maps in some very strange spots.
Yeah, for such a large area, it appears you would think.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Let's see. Actually, I wonder if I've got a homebrew one that I could use instead. Give me a second here.
Well, it's rather than delving down too far into something like this, make the mind come to you. Is what I was thinking. Because is that trail of poop leading out of the mine anywhere?
Well, it's not so much a trail as there's like clumps every now. There's some clumps every now.
So not uniformly
is it
apart.
being maintained?
The mine looks like it is actively being used. Yes.
So those clumps are someone sweeping that aside?
There are some buckets that have had some swept up in it, and you do notice a few piles that seem fresher.
But are the piles like right in the middle of the trail, or are they kind of off to the side? Like
the one or two piles that you find are still in the middle of the trail. Doesn't look like they've been cleaned up yet.
No, I wouldn't want anybody lurking around my mind.
both.
Anybody home?
As you ask that, and it reverberates off the walls, you can hear it sounds like the mining starts up again, and but it's not like the sound sounds much like higher pitched and like not as loud as if it was a human or a dwarf mining. It almost sounds like it almost sounds like toys like playing at mining, because it's like high pitched and a lot faster and whatnot. And you guys
Does
are
it sound
wandering
like
around.
scurrying?
Say that again.
Does it sound like scurrying?
No, it doesn't really sound like scurrying. But as you're in here, you can start to hear. It sounds like whistling, like a bunch of little people like whistling, and it's. You've been in here wandering around for about probably a good 10 minutes or so.
Can I tell how many different whistles there are? Not 7, are there?
Get out of my brain. I've literally had the dwarf songs from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs stuck in my head this whole time.
It actually sounds like way more than that. And the more you guys are wandering around in here, the rhythm of all these like tiny pickaxes and whistling, it's kind of making you guys drowsy with its rhythmic noise. And I would like all of you to give me some Constitution saving throws.
Oh no!
I have advantage to avoid or end charmed condition.
If
I
do this, I'm gonna start singing out of tune as loud as I can.
Constitution save?
Yes.
Can Michael, can you roll for me? I'm not at the computer.
Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you. I don't remember. I think I've got some kind of advantage to magic-y stuffs. I don't know. I don't remember.
Let's see. Pickle. Constitution.
Well, how do we do this now? Constitution. So I got +4, so 8 + 4 is 12.
It's your one at the top left. Yeah.
All right. So
yeah, you're much better at Constitution.
All right. So you guys hear a small thud as Pickle just sort of like slumps over and starts snoring.
Slap her around.
What did you get, Mike?
12.
You hear a louder thud as Stuart. It sounds like because he's wearing armor. It almost sounds like somebody just knocked over a full trash can.
Yeah.
And you hear him start. I don't know what you sound like when you're snoring, but
Oh, it's pretty bad.
yeah,
Damn
sounds
bad.
like somebody's sawing wood. Let's see. Gleam is immune to sleep effects because she's a full-blooded elf, and she's kind of mildly freaking out as everyone else is starting to fall asleep. Benita, what did you get?
Wait a second, I think I might be immune to sleep as well, but I got a 7.
Well, are you immune or advantage?
Let me take a look at that. There was
Let me take a look at
something
his character.
Well, he's a full elf too, right?
He is a half elf.
half
Oh,
elf,
okay.
but
I know I'm against charm for my stuff, but
oh, that's right, it was charm.
The racial traits.
class features.
Okay, it says magic can't put you to sleep, but this is not a magical effect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you still have to roll for this. And actually,
Yeah,
that's
I gotta-
right. Gleam does too because it's not a magical effect. Nope.
Still,
How is it not a magical
she didn't make
effect?
it.
No, this is not a magical effect.
So did she make it or no?
She did not. What did you get?
I'm asleep. I got a 6. I'm pretty sure that doesn't.
All right, so you fall asleep and Gleam is like, is this? No,
Gleam,
Zolric, no. And she says, wait for me, and she just sort of curls up next to you, and she falls asleep too.
Just kind of crumple to the ground together.
Yeah. And what did Benito get again?
A 7.
Benito sort of shakes his head at all these people passing out around him, and he's like, what's the matter with these fools? And then the next thing he notices is like the walls are up. The walls are like the ceiling, and the ground is like a wall. And then his eyelids very
Pip
heavy.
and Helena?
No, they stayed back at Mudlump's place.
Oh crap!
Hey. Yeah. And you all fall asleep, and are sleeping pretty well.
I was trying to look and see if I had anything that would.
By the way, don't ever fall for it on NPC. I had a campaign many years ago where they fell for an NPC as they were supposed to, and I had a table full of grown-ups bust out crying in the end.
Oh no! What did you do?
It was good.
What did you do?
Oh, we've done that. We didn't fall for them, but like.
Oh, you're talking about
rad.
Cassian when we had to kill him.
Yeah, I mean more than once we've bawled our eyes out, or at least been
It was-
very hit
it
in the
was-
feels by stuff happening to NPCs.
Delivery and the timing was shocking, and grown men, veterans, and grown girls. She was just squirting tears. It was dramatic. I'll tell you about it later.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
right.
that needs more backstory.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay.
I have nothing before. Oh, I don't think that would have helped though. It's too late now, I think. But
Yeah, we're all asleep.
protection from good and evil wouldn't have done anything against that, would it? Too late, didn't that? Too late now. Okay,
Yep.
we're all asleep. So,
Oh,
all right.
on.
The next question is, where do we wake up?
Wait a minute,
So-
wait a minute. Thought I had something on my
All right.
sheet.
So you're not sure how much time passes, but eventually, you guys do wake up. I'm trying to see if I've got a picture of any of these little fellows for you. Let me flip back here. Let's be. Let me find a picture of this individual.
Just realized I had something that would have helped me with talking to the giant guy.
Oh yeah, what's that?
I have the observant feat. You can
What would
see a
that do?
creature's mouth move while it's speaking a language. Oh, language you understand. Never mind.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like reading lips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Never mind. I don't like this. We're gonna die.
They're not gonna die.
No.
We better not.
I'm sure they're friendly.
Or no.
Yeah, I don't know the picture.
They will all become my
I will
subjects.
find a
Just
picture
you
of this
wait.
person for you.
They'll see your crown and fall to their knees and praise the Witchlight Queen.
We can hope.
Okay, here we go. Open image and new tab. Very good.
We've had a long rest since our last time and
Oh
everything.
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I had something marked off on mine.
Yeah, I was assuming we did too.
I gotta uncheck my spells and stuff. I had some marked off still.
Okay. All right, so you guys wake up. Zoom.
Feeling well rested and with breakfast on the table.
You find
Anyway,
you find a tall, slender human clad in dark leather armor who greets you. Their friendly face brightly illuminated by a tiny wisp of light that floats next to a mouse-sized creature perched on the human's shoulder. Greetings, trespassers, says the human with a smile. Didn't anyone ever teach you how to knock?
That's why we're the door.
We
said, is
we
anybody
asked-
home?
We asked when we came in.
we did.
You didn't actually knock.
There's nothing to knock on.
The figure kind of laughs and says, "Well, you do have me there. There isn't a door, in fact. So tell me, did the Corrid send you? I
The
see
what?
that you're all armed.
The who?
The Corrids.
We don't know who they are.
I don't even
And
know
you people
what
Excuse
Corey
me?
is.
We
What-
just
what-
actually got to Yon.
Did you? Where did you come from?
Hither and thither.
Into there.
Exactly.
Well, that's fair to assume, although rather non-specific.
Well, and before that, we were at the carnival.
We we're trying to figure out what's happened here, and we kind of dispatched a couple hags.
Did you now? And
Yep.
which hags might
Get
they
back
have
to
been?
give me a hug. Oh, it's all right. Don't worry about it.
Granny Nightshade.
Good night.
Yeah,
Love
I
you.
Nightshade and what's her noodle? The other one.
Scabatha and
You know what?
Tabitha and Balborn Bagstraw. Yes.
I'll tell you later. But
Lorna.
good night, Paxton.
Good night.
Hey,
Good night.
Good night.
sorry about that.
That's okay.
Never be sorry about that.
Okay, let me see if I can find a picture of this little dude that's hiding on this person.
Billy
Thanks
Butts.
for that, though. I really needed a snort.
Let's see.
But yeah, before that, we were at the carnival.
Which carnival?
The
Exactly.
Witchlight carnival.
Witchlight Carnival. Then we went to
What?
Hither and had to deal with a hag there. And then we went to
There's a
Hither,
hag here, hag there.
had another
Are
hag
you guys
there.
still drunk?
Oh, Mike's like, which carnival? I said exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
He says. So the figure says, all right. Well, I'll assume that means that you weren't at Endelin's carnival, or although I think hers is more akin to a play.
I mean,
Happen to
some
have
creepy
tickets
guy
to
with a
that.
puppet show showed up and gave us tickets
Mm-hmm.
while we were trying to have a
Ooh.
bath.
We haven't met her. We haven't met Enderlin yet.
Yes, but we would like to have a audience with her.
Let's see. Let me tile this here.
Oh my god, so cute!
So these little guys are super small.
Huh.
Itty bitty, teeny tiny.
Yeah. So they look like little green They look like little green dudes with little like bat noses and big old ears and gray whiskers, and they're wearing little shorts and mining vests, and they have these little tiny pickaxes that look like they'd be about the right size if maybe you're like a tin soldier or something.
And they're
Beautiful.
itty bitty rock
Is that a
chiseled.
peck?
What?
Is that a peck? P-E-C-H?
No, they're not pecs.
Okay.
Peck, 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 peck.
I thought they were
Go
variation.
ahead and give me a nature check to see if you can identify these little critters.
13
Better.
plus maybe
18.
18?
18.
So, Zolric does recognize these guys. These are little fey creatures known as Briganox.
Huh.
Bless you.
Yes.
Exactly.
Briganox.
Berganox.
Briganox. They just
Yeah.
Briganox.
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 Yeah. And from what you remember, they have their soul doesn't actually live inside their body. It's like a little light that follows them around. And sure enough, you're looking at it, and you can see this like little wisp trailing behind its head that glows brightly, kind of silhouetting it from behind.
That's interesting.
Yeah, these little guys. From what you remember, they can accelerate the passage of time around themselves, and they can use that ability to various effects. But yeah, they're little dudes who love mining, and what they tend to do is when mortals make wishes, those wishes crystallize in the Feywild, and these little guys mine them.
They mine wishes.
They mine the gems that are left behind when mortals make wishes.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, like the BFG.
So yeah, Zark says,
And we haven't.
"What are you doing with the Briganox?"
Well, you try to point at him, but you realize that you've been restrained. You're pinned to the ground by ropes and pittons.
So I just, with my nose and my chin, say, "What are you doing with the Briganox?"
And while you're motioning there, you notice that Gleam. She's kind of been her like head is like right on your chest, and she's kind of looking up, like, and
So we were tied down in a
I
place
just
all like
wasn't-
Gulliver's
don't-
Travels.
yes, you guys are tied down Gulliver's Travel style.
I'm like, just relax, don't.
Can I just try to
Benita's
sit
gonna
up?
say.
Hey, Mr. Bossman, can y'all let us up from here? I'm gonna get an awful crick in my neck if I'm held on this stone floor for long.
Yeah, this is quite uncomfortable.
Well, you can obviously understand if we're trying to figure out your motives here.
We were trying to explain.
Haven't introduced ourselves. I'm Benita. Who are you?
He says, my name is Molliver, and my little friend's here. He, you can see that he's got, in addition to the one that's on his shoulder, whom they introduce as Trig. They also have a couple other. One pokes his head up out of a belt pouch. Another one peers over the rim of Molliver's left boot, and their names are Zarly and Oila.
Okay. Our
Oh, it's a
motives are
pleasure to meet
simple.
you all.
Sorry, go ahead.
It is a pleasure to meet you all. So why do you have us tied down here? I understand you're having some trouble with these other group you were mentioning before.
Yes, the Koreds are allied with Creeping Ling, and they're attempting to slay the Briganox and steal their wish stones.
I don't know who any of these people are.
Not
Just
in battle
saying.
or anything.
No, you
That's
guys are
what I
not.
do, yeah.
But I can still use an action and use one of my abilities, right?
Probably. What is it you're wanting to do?
Hunter sense. I can choose a person or creature within 60 feet, learn the creature's damage immunities, resistances, vulnerabilities, and
Yeah, be able to see him straight up.
yeah,
Okay. How long does it take to use that?
it's an action.
Oh, is it? Okay. Who did you want to target that on?
Her.
On them? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're a person.
Well, is that something that he would notice?
Well,
Yeah,
you
It
can-
says as long as the creature is not hidden from divination magic.
yeah.
Okay. Let me read that ability on your character sheet here. Let's see. Features and traits, class features, favorite enemy. What's the
Hunter sense. It's under actions, I think.
Oh, actions.
I just checked it off. I don't uncheck it if I can't use it.
I see hunter sense.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You said nature sense.
No.
Oh, okay. Hunter sense.
Sorry.
Okay.
No, you said understand.
Hunter. All right. As an action, they do not have any damage immunities. Don't have any resistances or vulnerabilities.
Just a normal person.
And yeah, it looks like they're just a regular human.
Okay.
All right, so that uses one of those 2 abilities per long rest. Yeah, looks like.
So I'm going to try.
Well, if I may,
I would like to try to convince him that we're not
I
lying.
got it right. I got it right here. Well, you want to know our motivations? It's real quick. We're real simple. We've picked up a habit of exterminating hags, and lately we're performing giant dating service.
Giant dating service.
Yeah, as a giant needs a girlfriend, we got to find him one somewhere around here.
Yeah.
You mean Mudlump?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's seeking a love interest. We said we'd help him out.
Really?
So we're here to help the folks that are not allied with the hags, right?
Oh, well, in that case, perhaps you can help us with our Korid problem.
That's
What is that?
fair.
Are they allied with the hags?
Yes, they certainly seem to be. They're trying to exterminate the Briganox and steal the wish stones.
That sounds unpleasant.
Why would they want the wish stones for?
Well, you see, the Briganox hail from a city called Wish Come True, which is hidden deep beneath the mountains. Its buildings are adorned with glittering gems made from cut wish stones, and there's powerful magic and illusions and the hopes that mortals bear that can be used for tasks such as divination magic or a multitude of other.
Well, my hope and dreams don't seem to have any power at all.
All right. So, where's the Korids?
Oh, they there's a henge that they live on, not far from here. It's
See?
on a plateau across the lake, to the northwest.
I told you the
we saw
hinges
that.
are
We saw
trouble.
that. We decided to come here to try to get some information about Jan because we like the look of here versus the altar
The
side.
hin-
We thought that
hinges
looked dangerous.
You know what? So how about we go up? Is that just where they live? How many are there?
It says, well, they're not exactly friendly, so I've never stuck around long enough to get an accurate assessment of their numbers. But there are several clans of them.
Clans.
And their leaders tend to congregate at the henge, from what I know.
Say, now that we're more on friendly terms, could you let us up?
Says, well, I suppose so. And they look around, and as soon as when Molliver looks assesses all of you, his eyes, the Briganox eyes kind of go big, and they're tugging on Molliver's clothes and pointing at the little goblin, and kind of go, and kind of going like this.
Oh,
And Oliver says, "Oh my! I didn't realize that we actually had a queen amongst us." He says,
Oh.
"No, my mistake, Your Majesty."
Yeah, it's very rude of
Oh.
you.
And
Stop it.
and they bend down and they free you first. And so
Ladies first.
they said, meaning no disrespect, but you can understand why we have to be careful. The cords are much larger than the Brigannox. It'd be no match for them in all-out battle.
Oh, it's fine. I mean,
Battle?
Caution is
happens.
good.
So they begin working to.
What's the deal with the statues out front?
Oh, the cords thought that would perhaps frighten us into desisting. I don't. My guess is that they were attempting to scare us away from the mine with their statues, but
Is that
They're not well carved enough to be that scary.
well, not if you know what to look for. No, but
is that what the cords look like?
Yeah.
Yes, they do look like that. They resemble dwarves, but they're much smaller, and more stony in appearance than a dwarf.
What do you know about Chord society? Rather than, we don't necessarily want to go murdering a whole bunch of folks, but if we could convince them to leave y'all alone or take out their leaders, which would be more effective?
Well, if we could find a peaceful resolution to this, that would be preferable. Let me see if they know much about Coreds here.
Yeah. As we get freed, I help Gleam up.
Mhm. Remember, you've been warned.
Pickle will just kind of like hip check his knee so that like he gets a little closer to her, and then just whistle and hide behind.
Yeah, she after she's up, she just kind of stands behind you. It's just kind of peeking over your shoulder.
You okay?
He says, "I'd like to think so." You will be. Okay.
Kiss the girl. Whoa, whoa. And then she'll just hide behind Benito.
I'm reading to see if there's anything about the chords that they know.
My dear, you're trying to be a little matchmaker.
I mean, she was the one asking questions about him while we were swimming.
Oh, they make a handsome couple.
Not very.
Sure. I don't know what she's asking me like what I know about him. I'm like, I don't know.
So okay, so Molliver explains a little bit and says, the Brigannox who live under the mountains of Yon are at odds with the Corrids who live on the slopes and peaks, and we believe that the Corrids are in league with Endelyn Moongrave, and is desiring the wish stones.
That's good enough reason to murder them all.
Indolin Moongrave desires the wish stones.
Correct.
Okay.
That's all I need to know.
I do know that there are 8 clans of Corrids, and they are led by a queen who is elected to rule over all 8 clans, and the seat of their power, their sacred site, is Lochberry Henge, which is what you espied whilst you were at the lake.
Mm-hmm.
So is that where she stays?
As far as I know, yes.
Okay.
Are they willing allies and supporters of the hag, or are they being coerced? Yeah, that's the word.
She Molliver kind of looks at some of the Brigannox, and they're just kind of chattering amongst themselves in Sylvan, as Molliver translates to them, and they said, and some of them were saying like, "Oh yeah, well, They're super bad guys. They're big and they're rude and they're smelly and they're always dancing around and they're big heavy with their big heavy feet. Yeah, they're obviously bad.
Are they rude and ugly, or are they evil?
So I said, because I speak Sylvan, I'm like, so do you just dislike their appearance and how they smell, or do they actually like evil and bad?
They seem a little bit confused by the question.
Did you have a beef with them before the witch came along? Before the hag came along, did you have a beef with them?
Well, they weren't. I mean, they don't seem to like us too much. They throw rocks at us when we're mining and try and chase us away.
Was that before the hag came along or after the hag came along?
Both, I think.
So even when Zabilna ruled this area, they were like that?
Well, when Zabilna was still in command, they were more polite because she doesn't like anyone fighting. But they were still grumpy to us, and they don't like us mining.
Why do they not like it mining? I don't get that.
I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Who doesn't like mining? You guys liked it so much you fell asleep and were having pleasant dreams.
Thanks for the nap.
Maybe not everyone wants to fall asleep outside of their control.
Well, they could stay on their hinge. They don't need to come here.
That is true.
Or if we were going to a treaty.
Get them treats?
Get a treaty.
Peace agreement.
A peace agreement. Oh, that's a novel idea. Like, how so? Well, Molliver kind of pats him on the head and he says, and they say, well, that's a fine idea. If we could bring them to the table to talk, we might. Now the Cords are much bigger than the Briganox, but we are, of course, much bigger than they. So
we could always just go as a diplomatic party and ask what their actual intent is.
I suppose that would work.
Yeah.
I've sworn myself to help defend and protect the poor Briganox, but I could note. Even though I'm big, I'm obviously much bigger than they, I could certainly not take on 8 clans of them by myself.
There's an old tactic that I use a lot and it served us well. Turn someone's strength into their weakness.
Oh, well, that is why we've holed up in this cave, you see, so that they cannot swarm and surround us. They have to approach through the narrow entrance of the mine.
I'm thinking of this. There's currently on the hag side. What if we turn them against the hag?
Yeah. Oh, well, that would certainly be beneficial to all of us, I imagine.
So, there you go.
Yeah. So
we just got to figure out a way to incentivize them to that. What do they want? Dreamstones?
Yeah. At the mention of the wish stones, the Briganox look concerned, and they're sort of tugging on Molliver's armor, like no, we can't give up our wish stones.
What is it they like more than wish stones?
What?
Do they like anything more than wish stones?
You're asking what the Briganox like?
What the Cords like?
The Cords.
Oh, the Cords?
Yeah. Do they like anything more than the wish stones?
Well, I think Indolent's the one who wants the wish stones. The Cords mostly like to dance. I mean, they can dance if they want to, but we're not leaving our mine behind.
Okay, so how about
dance if you want to?
Good one.
If you don't dance.
Maybe they'd like to not be having to get the stones for Indolent.
God,
Just saying.
But you can that. You know what? We can use that. You can dance if you want to,
Sure. Yeah.
But their freedom to do what they want to do instead of serving the hag So I'm curious what they're getting out of it from the hag.
Probably nothing.
Probably nothing.
Yeah, sounds to me like everybody hates the hag.
Yeah, I think that's got to be the strategy is get them to turn on the hag.
What was her name again?
Mm-hmm.
Endolin.
No, that we're talking to now.
Actually,
More
Their name is Molliver.
Molliver. I said, oh, Molliver. One other question. When we were at the lake, I noticed these tall towers being struck by lightning. Then it all seemed to like channel up and go north. What
Yes.
are those?
Those lightning catchers. They seem to provide Endolin with power with which she powers her fortress.
There's something.
Ah, if we can make friends with that giant, he might be able to knock a few of those down.
I was first thought was, no problem. There's no problem in the world that cannot be overcome with the judicious application of explosives.
Yeah.
Oh, explosives! I like the way you think. That certainly sounds exciting.
Hey, giant ally.
Yes, I can say Mudlump would certainly be able to make short work of those without needing explosives, I imagine.
Between the Cords and Mudlump. Think about that.
Yeah. If we can get them all on our side.
Well, that's still contingent upon us figuring out what the Cords want and managing to arrive at some sort of an accord.
Yeah.
So we gotta find Mudlump a girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
And we gotta get the Cords on our side.
Now, wait a second. Isn't the girlfriend that we want in the castle or with Indolin?
You're breaking up a little bit there, Landon. What?
The girlfriend is in is with Indolin, right?
Oh, the potential girlfriend, the Fomorian.
Yeah.
She is in the Palace of Heart's Desire, apparently.
Is that where Endolin is at?
No,
it's
Endolin.
way on the end of the quest.
Yeah. When you ask about Endolin, Molliver says, "Oh no, remember those lightning catchers that we were talking about?
Yeah.
They relay all of the storm power that they catch, all the lightning. They relay that further to the north, up to Motherhorn, which is where Endolin makes her abode.
So where's the tower?
Yeah, we don't.
Desire.
Oh, the Palace of Heart's Desire. That's to the north of all the subdomains. It's almost separate from the others. But if you have a guide that you could convince to help you, perhaps doing them some sort of a boon, a guide should be able to lead you through the interdiction that the hags have placed between here and there.
Do we not know that's where Zabilna's being held? Is that the same place?
Yeah, Zabilna's. You know that Zabilna is being held in the Palace of Heart's Desire.
Okay.
All right. So here's the deal.
But we haven't found a guide to get there yet. Do you know of such a guide?
I've heard that there's a dandelion knight who knows the way. If you can manage to find him.
Oh yeah, forgot about that. Yeah.
We've met Amador.
Yeah.
Oh, you're acquainted then.
Yeah.
Yes, if you perhaps if you could do Amador some sort of a boon, maybe he would be inclined to show you the way.
Wow.
We're
Okay, here we
working on
go.
it.
We're gonna get that
That's what we're helping him for.
allied together.
Yeah.
Because the dandelion knows where to go get him a girlfriend.
Right.
All right, and we're gonna get, in order to make all this happen, we gotta shut down this hag in this island to clear the way.
Right.
So I think we need to go back and explain this plan to the giant.
Yes, and we need to talk to the Cords and see what their
Yeah,
situation
I think
actually
we
is.
talk to the Cords first, see if they're assess them or destroy them. Okay, and given the results of that, go talk to the giant and say, "Hey, we got a plan."
Okay.
Yeah.
Currently coffee brewing. Let's take a bio break here, and we will reconvene in about 5 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Resuming. All right, we are resumed. Totally not crying after the story Mike told us.
You're crying. I'm not crying. You're crying.
There's been plenty of other times when our hearts got poked.
That's true.
Well, like I say, it's in a box on its way. The notes and the character sheets from the original 1E campaign are on their way to the Philippines right now. And when I get there, the first thing I'm doing is I dig that up and I write the story.
Nice.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Nice.
I'm trying to make a newer version of that.
Nice. Maybe
Okay.
maybe you can DM it and then we'll join your campaign.
Well, now we know the
No.
biggest.
I know.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
So done homework.
I'm gonna
Right.
have to change that around a little bit. I think I got another MacGuffin
I'm
for
not gonna
that.
twist nothing no more. Ever.
Trust is very overrated.
That's a good twist though to the whole end of that.
Yeah.
I said
Anyway,
if people
alright,
wonder why
so-
D&D players have trust issues, cause that and mimics.
Your fault.
Exactly.
It's all your fault, Mike.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Now, speaking of trust issues, the next thing is chords.
Chords, yes.
So yeah, the chords.
And we're gonna go. So we tell her that we're gonna go seek out the chords and see if we can delve into what's prompting them in their behavior now.
Okay. I wonder if I should accompany you to speak for
Maybe.
them.
But they know that you're here with the Brigannox. It might incite them more.
That is a fair
Yeah.
point, I suppose.
They don't know us. We could come off as friends and just strangers trying to figure the land out.
Go ahead and give me a diplomacy check.
Diplomacy? That's Pathfinder, isn't it?
Persuasion. Yes. Persuasion is totally what I said.
Yes.
This is why I can't play multiple different versions of the game at the same time.
I'm telling you.
When you said it, and I'm like, okay, I think I'm. Yeah.
Well, as long as you don't try second edition Pathfinder,
I
you'll be
think
okay.
the general rule is if we don't recognize the name of the check that Michael asked us, it's probably the other game.
Right.
Okay. This. If I was start ringing about it would literally be the fourth time this week that I bitched about Pathfinder Second Edition.
Sorry, I didn't mean to pick that scab.
Yeah.
All right.
You just like ripped the band-aid off and started it all over.
Seriously, I don't think there's been a single day this week where I haven't bitched about Pathfinder Second Edition. So,
It's not
All
my
right,
favorite
so-
so far.
anyway,
How about this? We may say, by the way, when we're dealing with them, say, hey, we heard you guys got a beef with these guys here, but you got a bigger beef with the hat. In terms of the real problem is y'all are invading someone else's territory, making an enemy, okay? To
Off of
serve her.
Off of someone else's wishes and wants.
Right.
What
y'all
do you
really want?
want?
okay.
My
You know?
persuasion was 17. So
17. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good.
Stay behind and not.
And what you're saying, this Gleam is sort of batting her eyes, like demurely, adding to your assumption of being upright and forthwith.
And she's not going to get thrown into the fireplace.
She will probably not get thrown into a
Probably
fireplace.
not be thrown into a fireplace. That's good to know.
Yeah, while you're being held person.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So upset about that. Okay. All right.
Everybody.
So, are you guys going to trek your way on over to Lockberry Henge and see if you can find the chords?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. So say we all?
All right.
I
Is everyone
like
in
it.
agreement?
guess
Let's
so.
go.
All right.
Since we already got a nap in, might as well.
Yes, you did get a short rest in.
Oh,
Sure.
sweet.
Just a short rest.
We slept.
No, you got a short rest while you were sleeping in the Brigannox mine.
We already had a full rest, so we should be all powered up.
We're all.
So I don't get my spot back.
No, you do not.
We've
It's
had
long rest.
honey mead, a bath, and a nap. We're good.
Yeah, you guys are good. Your
Yeah.
feet are getting a bit sore by the time you make it to Lockberry Henge. And atop this boulder-strewn plateau, you see there stands a circle of 8 megaliths. And in the center of the henge, a small checkered game board with stone playing pieces rests on the ground near the dying embers of the campfire.
That's wizard's chess.
Give me a second to see if there's actually a map of this place or not. There is. Holy crap, there's actually a map.
Oh, something useful. Good.
Wow. Amazing. All right, let me switch y'all over to the map and get these little duders off the screen. Wait, you go away too. All right, Party Star, where art thou?
Yeah, we can see nothing.
I don't want to continue on my mobile browser. Fuck off, Edge. Stupid.
Yeah.
Damn you, Microsoft.
Oh, but you really do like Edge, don't you?
I like it for some things. I hate the way Microsoft puts freaking advertisements in every goddamn thing.
Oh yeah.
And that is getting bad.
All my stuff, I've got Firefox on. I've gotten
Doesn't matter when they put it in the start menu. All right, let's see. Party Star. Power.
House tonight.
Activate. No, not the character sheet. Get on there. Okay.
Haha!
There we are. Let me zoom out this map a little so you can see better. See as I see. Oh,
That's
the portraits are very large, aren't they?
And in charge.
Well, that's just like a hill with a bunch of stones on it, right?
Video display.
From the sky view, yes.
Names only.
Where's
There,
the-
that's better.
Where's the board game? Where's the board? The thing right in the middle.
That's like a fireplace or something, and these are like stones.
And you said something about looks like a board game.
Yeah, there was like a chessboard in the center near the
That's-
spire.
Oh, there was something.
Yeah, it's not on the map though, for whatever reason.
Well, you want to piss somebody off, move their chess pieces.
Right?
So don't do that.
So, as you guys are looking around,
Okay.
each of these 8 standing stones is about 20 feet tall and hewn from a different kind of rock. Shale, chalk, flint, granite, slate, basalt, obsidian, and marble.
I'm still shocked.
a lot.
I'm guessing obsidian and marble are the closest ones to us. They're the darkest and
The same.
lightest.
So you're walking up to take a piece of chalk. Okay.
Oh, you taking
What?
a piece of chalk?
So give me a perception check for
This
survival check for this.
is kind of why I'm doing this because I want to see something here. We don't see any body up here, right?
Yeah, do we see any?
You give me a perception check and then give me a survival check.
Oh, for crap's sake. Perception check of 9.
I got a perception of 20.
Oh, here you go.
You don't see anybody up here. The fire looks like it's still got embers in there, so it seems like someone's been here fairly recently at least.
And survival of 24.
Okay, what did you get for your survival check, Mike?
Oh, I didn't. God, man, putting this guy away today. So
Not so good? Okay.
Less than 10?
less than 10.
I'll watch his back and help him out so he doesn't like cut
Oh,
himself.
right
in the
at 10 actually. No, it was 7. I have a 7.
7 total on your survival?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you walk over and manage to pick up a piece of chalk from near the chalk monolith, and it feels it's not a stick. It's actually kind of like a lump of chalk. It feels about on your hand, about the size of a baseball, maybe.
Okay.
So yeah, you don't see anyone up here. Just this abandoned chessboard set up near the fire on like a little stone table, for you guys maybe about knee high.
All right. As I'm walking over there,
I look back at Gleam and everyone. I say, "Be on your guard."
Is anybody
What
see
is
anybody?
Gleam holds her hands up. She says, I see no one.
Yeah.
You can try your tactic familiar. Anybody home?
Now, as you're wandering around looking, you do see a couple tiny sets of hoof prints leading away from the game board in different directions.
What? go.
I want to go
So-
move a piece.
So I point out to him. I said, "Huh? Do you see
Yeah,
the hoof
see 'em.
prints are leaving the board?
Do they
So-
leave the board and stop?
So is there a set of footprints leaving in each direction or each side of the board, or
Yes. So let me see here. Which
I'm
one?
gonna look for footprints and see if they go and turn and stop.
yeah? Do I notice if there's any like knights on the actual board?
Uh,
I think I've got
Knights?
I'm trying to see.
I think a couple of people in the party are
Dragon Shadow proficient.
I don't have. I'm trying to see.
So the footprints, you see one of them leads up to the shale monolith, and the other one actually leads up to the chalk monolith.
So there's just two.
And they're like little cloven hoof-looking
Well, you say
footprints, but they're
leads.
tiny.
Shell and chalk. Right? So,
If there's anybody here, we're
Say
just
which of those
trying
this
to say
is?
hi.
So the chalk one,
We got an elf, right?
the chalk one is back here,
me.
and the shale one,
Elf.
Secret doors.
What?
the shale
Secret
one is
doors.
here.
Shell is there.
Shale is here, and chalk is over here. So let me put all the characters on the board. I guess.
Opposite side. Okay.
So Zalbrecht will say he was looking at the board.
Yeah.
Stewart, he had gone over there and picked up a piece of chalk.
This is one situation where being scattered a little bit across the plane is not a bad idea.
Right.
Let me see if I can find a token for Gleam.
Hello.
We can hear you. I can hear you.
Tokens.
Hello.
Michael, can you?
No,
I
this
can-
whole time I've been saying Pickle's just, using your guys' tactic from earlier. Like, hello, anybody out there? We're just trying to be friendly.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of what I'm doing, looking around, but these footprints hoof prints going right up to the stone.
Do they just
Either they're standing there invisible, or they went through a secret door, or they melded with the stone. One of
Or
the two.
they
One of the
just
three.
go from the board to the stone and stop, right? Nothing.
Yep.
There's no like clawing or.
No, it doesn't look like any. You don't see any evidence of someone having like climbed up the stone. Like there's nothing really knocked off of them, or any other disturbances.
I'm gonna put my hunter's hat on and just be looking right at the face of that stone where those hooves stop, and I'm gonna look down at the hoof prints and see if they're changing.
You look down at the hoof prints. They don't seem to be changing. No.
Oh, Mr. Elchie, look for secret doors in the faces of the stone.
I don't think anyone has that. I mean,
You're
we
an
can.
elf, dude.
I mean, we can investigate stuff. and
That's
see if
the secret door thing is I think Pathfinder and 3rd edition thing. I don't think that's a thing in.
It's been a thing since basic D&D.
Yeah, but I don't think it's a thing.
it hasn't carried over. It's not any of
Really?
my feats or
There's
anything.
no
I don't think
detect
so.
secret doors or anything like that in 5th edition.
Let me double check.
That's the
But
first I've
it's-
ever heard of it, but I don't know much.
He's actually a Shatter Kai.
Oh God! Really?
Languages, creature type.
I mean, I can do like actions in combat, improvise, ready, search, shove, use object.
I
So
think that'd be like an investigation.
he's got proficiency in perception.
Yeah.
I
I think they merged that
Marketing.
into perception and didn't leave it as its own thing anymore.
Really?
I mean, I'm a deft explorer.
Yeah,
You're
he's
unsurpassed.
yeah. Keep in mind,
survivor.
he's not an elf. He's a Shatter Kai, which is a type of elf, but
Not
Fey
the
elf.
type of elf.
yeah.
No.
So I can't remember if regular elves still have that or
Okay.
not. I know.
Wow,
I know in
that's-
Pathfinder they did.
Yeah.
They kept the sleep resistance one. Well, magical sleep resistance
Yeah.
and the charm resistance.
I mean, yeah.
Like everything's turned
Again,
over.
keen senses, but that's just a bonus in perception
Yeah.
and stuff. There's nothing that is like search for hidden stuff anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So much for that.
A character who searches a wall where a secret door is located and succeeds on a DC 20 Wisdom Perception check finds an initiative. So basically, it's a perception check.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a source book of many things, or the book of many things. Magical secret doors, etc. But not any, and choosing, but not any elven. Okay. All right. Well,
Alright.
then a person can just look and get a DC 20 perception check to look specifically for them.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? We want to try that?
I mean, we can. I guess would it be an investigation or perception at that point?
That's what they said. Perception.
You can do either as you prefer, whichever's better.
I got a +5 to both, but one has like the blue dot beside of it. One has the gray dot.
That doesn't matter. That just matters what your sort. That just indicates
Yeah,
that
okay.
it's a bonus.
So I guess I'll do investigation.
Okay.
Go for it. Ooh, yeah. 13.
13. No, it almost looks like. It almost just looks like from the judging from the survival checks you had earlier, it almost looked like these were the footprints. It almost looks like it was like not somebody in a full sprint, but just somebody just kind of like jogging, like hurriedly towards these stones, and they didn't break pace. They just looks like it goes right into the
Yeah,
stone.
it looks like they just ran straight into these stones.
Okay. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
So I just knock on the
So these
stone.
guys-
I'm gonna knock
Okay.
on this chalk stone and say, "Anybody in there?"
Okay. Give me a perception check.
17 plus 4. 70 plus 4. 21.
You would swear that you just saw the stone blink.
Camouflage.
So the chess
Alright,
piece.
so these guys like music. They like to dance.
Hey,
I
play your
will-
sultry flute music.
I am
Well,
going to try playing a song
There you
that
go.
make them dance.
All right.
Let's don't try to play a song that they would dance to.
Yeah, I think you only have one more successful performance check left to make with your flute or whatever it was before you're considered proficient. So go ahead and give it your best shot.
And the chess piece is actually made of the different stones that are around.
See if I can. roll.
Pieces. When you take a look at the chessboard, the white pieces appear to be made of chalk, and the black pieces appear to be made of shale.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing. I can't stand. I'm gonna keep an eye on this thing. All right, go. You doing your flute bit?
So
Yeah, I was about to do it if that's okay.
Let him
Yeah,
do
you can do that.
Let's let him do the flute bit because I got an idea.
that first. But I've got an idea.
I was hoping one time tonight I could roll something above a fucking 4, but apparently not.
Okay.
You never have the best of luck with dice in any campaign, dude.
So
That is
Alright.
fucking ridiculous.
Oh,
I
poor
hate
dude.
comedy.
Hey, on the plus side, you're at the beach, and we're not.
Yeah,
yeah, so on the chessboard, do I notice a move that would capture a piece from one color to the other?
Yeah, you can see a move where you can actually manage to take one of the white rooks.
So I just move the piece and capture.
I'm watching that chalk
rook.
while he does
Okay,
that.
you do that.
that
and
did give
for-
me an 11, by the way. I don't know if that makes a difference.
So it's
It's not terrible.
it's a mediocre performance. It's kind of like somebody on the street busking, but they're not doing a particularly great job. So people might just toss somebody a coin as they're going on their way, but not really care to stop and stop what they're doing to
Listen
pick.
line to your warlord.
Basically, Muzak at this point.
Yeah.
All right. So when he moved that piece and captured it, did the chalk blink again?
The chalk that when you capture the white rook, you almost kind of got the sense that the eyebrows narrowed.
Did anything happen with the captured piece though?
Hang on a second.
No,
I'm back over there. I'm gonna look at the board, see what a good counter move would be, and then pick the most terrible counter move possible and step aside so that I'm gonna look at the chalk pillar while I'm moving this knight in basically making a blunder.
You do notice that from near the middle of the board, there's actually a bishop that's lined right up on that corner where that rook had been.
Yeah.
That would be able to take the piece that he just used to take the white.
I don't want to succeed. I want you
I wish
failing
Jake were here.
Okay.
Okay, so you're moving as the black pieces now.
No. He's
Oh
a
yeah,
white
so
piece.
you're a white piece.
I'm a white piece, right? But I'm gonna make a terrible move that no one would make.
So he's basically
I'm gonna make a
block the other
blunder
piece
on
from getting me.
purpose. Okay. As I'm watching that chalk thing, I'll make a really hideous move.
Okay,
So he's gonna try to move in front of the bishop so they can't take me.
Okay, yeah. So you like march a pawn out like 2 spaces right in front of this this bishop and end up getting a pass, and you hear come from the stone.
I'm looking at the stone saying, I can see you.
You hear what sounds like a sigh coming from the stone, and a little figure steps out of it, and they only come up to about your knee. But they march over the board and look at it, and they look up at you and said, "You're not good at this."
Are they hooving?
Hey,
Yes.
no,
Okay.
I'm perfectly good at this. I got you to come out.
I don't like you.
Oh, I like you very much. I think you're a really clever fella.
I'm not a fella.
Oh,
Well, we're
Oh,
what are you then?
My name is Jago of Chalk.
Jago of Chalk.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm the chief of Clan Chalk.
You're the chief of Clan Chalk. Oh, and I get it. And there's a clan for each one of these stones, right?
Well, yes, of course.
Oh, okay. All right.
And as you guys are talking, you see coming out from the shale obelisk is another one of these little figures, but they've got like a little crown, a little stony crown on top of the hair, and this kind of well played, Sir Human. Well played. I'm Argantel of Shale, the Queen of the Chorids. You come seeking an audience, I presume?
Well met.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Just recover.
well
Yeah.
met.
So,
hi.
you have come seeking an audience.
And to what end? Our scouts report that they saw a band matching your description approaching the Briganox mines earlier today.
Mm-hmm. And we
Yep.
learned things that might be mutually beneficial to all of y'all.
No, do tell.
Well, it seems that y'all have been put to task to have a conflict with the Bergenauts at the benefit of a hag.
Yes, Endelyn Moongrave is her name.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You should do well to remember it. She will not let us forget.
Are you
And
getting anything out of it, though?
Well, what do y'all get out of this arrangement?
Says, well, she has promised that if we can deliver to her the wish stones of the Briganox, that she'll see to it that they cease and desist their noisome tumults permanently.
I mean, doesn't seem like
Oh.
he's done that.
their mining is what bothers you?
Does it not bother you? It's like needles in the ears every time they mine. It's like tiny little explosions inside your noggin. It's so painful.
Well, Well, I tell you what. If they could mine somewhere else beyond your range of hearing, would that be all right?
Well, I suppose so. Although I can't see them doing that sort of thing willingly.
Well,
We did our best to scare them away, but they seem to be more resilient than they have any right to be.
They're quite
small.
persistent. But I have a feeling that this, what's her name again? Indolin is not going to hold up her end of the deal. She only cares about getting them dream stones.
Which stones?
Yeah.
Why I keep saying dream stones? I'm thinking BFG.
Yeah.
She keeps getting
yeah.
right? And what is she going to do with all those wish stones when she gets them?
Nothing good.
They do have a certain amount of arcane power. Perhaps she is intending to craft magic items. Maybe she's bored and needs inspiration to write another one of her plays. There's a lot of tragedy that goes on in the lives of mortals that leads to their wishes. It wouldn't surprise me if that would make good inspiration for one of her tragedies.
So she's going to take all that and make tragedy of it.
Seems
Not
reasonable.
doing anything for you guys.
Yeah, we've met her sisters. They're very self-serving.
They're all about tragedy.
That is hardly surprising. In spite of the law of reciprocity, you do raise a fair point that it seems like the hags mostly take rather than reciprocating.
And now, what if there was no hag?
Do explain.
What if we, like we did with the other two hags, did away with this hag?
And freed your realm.
That way you don't gotta take the rocks.
So Queen Argantel and Chief Jagu look at each other and they're kind of talking and Argantel puts two fingers in her mouth and she gives a loud whistle. And from all the other pillars up here, you see other small shapes emerge from them, and they all come up and are basically huddled around the game board discussing this matter. Let me find a picture of what these little fellas look like here.
Just y'all don't get fearful. Just be stony, okay? Not to be punny, but seriously, just be stone-faced.
Stoically rigid.
Stoically rigid. We're good.
I mean, the track record is that nobody really likes the hags, so Pickle's not all that worried.
Even the bad guys benefit from the lack of a hag.
Okay. So,
they look otherwise happy for the most part.
This is what they look like when they're happily dancing.
Duh, they look like, oh my gosh, they remind me of the rock people from Frozen.
I just had a thought. Dancing requires rhythm, does it not?
It does.
Yeah.
What if you allied with those miners to chap a rhythm that you enjoy dancing to?
Yeah, teach them.
Well, that's a fine idea and all, but it still hurts like the dickens.
Why?
The noise is much too sharp. Here, have you ever done this before? And Argantel goes over to her obelisk, the one that's made of shale.
Okay, all right, I get you.
Yeah. And she takes off these little gloves that she's wearing, and she puts her fingernails on it, and she just goes.
Oh.
I get you. I'll tell you what though.
And all the others are kind of wincing as she makes her point.
I get that, but here's the thing. Y'all might be able to work out some sort of compromise rather than having to go killing each other, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
so
it for nothing.
beyond them moving and relocating to a different spot, despite the fact that the location that they're in contains these wish stones that they're presently mining, what do you suggest?
What if we could get them to make their picks out of a different material that would have a different
Cast,
pitch when they mine?
cast a magical silence on every one of their picks.
Oh.
If they were silenced, that might be interesting. Although they do seem to revel in the noise they make.
Make it so that there's a sound that only they can hear.
I don't know if we can do
I'm
that
not
though.
sure how to accomplish such a thing,
Well,
but that
maybe if
doesn't
you
mean
had
that
it-
it's
If you
beyond possibility.
that sounds like some arcane magic you might be able to acquire.
Perhaps.
So that way you solve the problem without having to serve a hag who's only interested really in herself. Because when she gets what she wants, she's not going to need y'all anymore.
Or anyone else in the realm, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but just something my papa would say is, don't promise the moon if you don't have a big enough lasso.
That's true.
Yes.
So, hey,
Well,
all we
we would-
promise is a chance.
Well, we would like to be free of. We would like to be free of the bitter end's influence. She keeps shearing our hair, with which to make the ropes that she uses to bind her
And
marionettes.
she's stealing your hair?
She
It's
just-
rude.
Dude.
Yes, quite. And she also uses it to form the guy lines that steady her lightning catchers.
So
Now that's an interesting thing.
So, real quick, in the sense of reciprocity, what does she give you for taking
Right.
your hair?
They look at each other and scratching their heads, and she says, "Well, I believe that the reciprocity that she sees is that she allows us to continue living."
That's
So that's how it's been put to us.
Huh.
But the hags claim to own everything. So you know that the rules of hospitality,
Mm-hmm.
property, and reciprocity.
Yes.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
the issue with the law of ownership and property is that the hags regard everything that exists within Prismere and the sub-realms, including Yon, as their property, as they are.
I know two hags that no longer have that luxury. Do you think that's fair that the hags think that way?
Oh, most certainly not. No,
Well,
Zabilda would have never stood for this.
Well, if everybody but them doesn't agree with it, then obviously, it doesn't hold.
Well,
How about this? How about we all team up and get rid of this hag so y'all can go about living your lives and making your own decisions and not be taken advantage of by these selfish folk.
well, that might make it somewhat easier to bear the infernal racket coming from the mines.
You'll
But
certainly be
if-
less stressed.
If you're free to be wherever you want and she's not around, then you don't have to be this close to the mine.
Well, this is sort of our
It's a
ancestral
special place.
meeting place.
I
but-
understand.
I wonder if there's a way to
You
like
always
put
live
some.
here and not have to live here.
It is a fair point, I suppose. We already no longer hold large gatherings here. Organthal continues to explain. She says, I fear the consequences of bitter end's meddling and have instructed my fellow cohorts to ensconce themselves in stone, thus to remain in the relative safety for the foreseeable future.
You sound like you have a formidable force.
Well, yes, but so did she. I mean, she has many mechanized minions, and it's not possible to kill her. She can only.
What if you took her hair back? Took your hair back?
Well, I'm not sure how it is with you from the prime material plane, but once you cut your hair, can you reattach it?
Well, I'm telling you, take it off them towers. those are the guy wires on those towers, right?
It is, but that doesn't mean we can attach it to our heads any more than you can.
No, but how about you take it away from her and cut the hair of those guy wires?
We could. I'm not sure if we have any implements sharp enough to cut it ourselves. You see, when our hair is cut, it takes on the properties of whatever device was used to shear our hair.
What did she use to shear your hair?
Some adamantine shears.
Adamantine
shears.
Oh, that out your tail.
Hey, you did.
Yes.
Oh, we'll have to find some adamantium or something.
Yes.
So here's the thing.
Next
we
question.
have a friend who's a giant who might be able to assist in the toppling of these towers, or maybe perhaps in somehow destroying those guy wires. So if we can topple those towers and reduce her power, okay, it'll make it more likely that your army, right, might be able to help in overwhelming her forces.
Yes, depriving her of power would certainly shift the scales in our favor, wouldn't it?
It would. So we have one important question.
Mm-hmm.
What do you know in Yon that would cause an eclipse?
An eclipse? Well, it's always nighttime here. I believe from what I've heard about your plane that an eclipse would require a luminous body in the sky and then an opaque body moving in front of it.
So, do you not have a sun and a moon?
No, we do not. It is always night in this area.
What about the sun tower and moon tower?
Oh, you mean the lightning catchers?
Yeah. What if we made one of them glow and put the other one in the way to make it where the shadow of it sits right on her tower or wherever she lives? I don't know.
It might work. As you guys are mentioning this, Gleam pipes up and she says, "Oh well, my sister and I we're known as the Selenelian twins, and our whole act is that we perform a duet, a dance, where we mimic the sun and the moon. My sister the sun and myself the moon."
I remember you said that before.
Yes.
I believe that's why she invited us here and then imprisoned her.
And so we just have to free the moon.
No, my
Oh,
sister's the
You have to
sun.
free the sun.
I'm
Yes,
touched in the head. I'll have a good memory.
No, Glister is the sun and I'm nighttime Gleam.
Moon gleam. Okay, I get it now. Okay, so we need to deliver Gleam.
No, Glister.
Well, if you could,
Oh no,
if you
we need
could
to deliver Gleam to the vicinity of Glister, get Glister freed, have her produce an eclipse, and do away with the bad lady.
Yeah.
that sounds like it would fulfill the conditions of her curse.
Are y'all with us?
The chords huddle up again and start talking, and every now and again one of them pokes up their head and cranes their neck up again until another one comes and like puts back down again. And after a while they say, Argantel comes back and says, "Yes, I believe that these are terms that we would find acceptable. Yes, and we take no great pleasure in helping her, because she does so very little to help us. And the Briganox, perhaps if we didn't have to remain lodged in stone all the time, the sound wouldn't carry so badly. That's the biggest. That's the biggest problem. She's been with her bullying us. We've spent most of our time melding into the stone to avoid her gaze. And one year, she says, "I'm not certain if you've ever tried melding into a stone before, but you can hear every last little thing conducted through the
That's
air."
why
I
I no
understand.
longer
So
wear
every
helmet.
time
Oh, So you understand then, human?
So yes,
Mhm.
every time they hit the stone in the
Yes.
underdwelling with the pig,
Oh.
it resonates through everything you are.
Exactly.
Well,
And-
and maybe you guys can talk to them and like compromise about, quiet times.
And party times. Because they.
Yeah.
What if when you had a celebration and were dancing and not in the rock is when they chose to mine?
Like I said.
That might work because when we're dancing, which is our preferred state of consciousness and wakefulness anyway. Yes, we tend to make a decent racket, so we might not notice. We certainly can't dance while we're in the stone.
Correct.
That makes a certain amount of sense. You are rather astute for a woodland being. You know that?
You've given us a lot of useful information.
Alright, so I think that the thing is this, is y'all gonna need a signal on when you start attacking, right? Or how would, say if we take out at least one or two of the power stations and disrupt the whole process, right? And she's
Hey.
without that power, what would the next move be?
Well, the purpose of all these these lightning catchers is that they funnel their energy into a device called the Orrery of Tragedies, which she uses to glimpse all possible futures.
Sounds like something we need to break.
So, if she's able to see all possible futures, it might be wise to topple the towers first, so that she can no longer see what you're planning.
Yes, but if that's the case, then she's possibly seeing the future of our treaty.
Hey, I mean,
But just because you can see an avalanche coming doesn't mean you can do much about it.
True.
hey,
Speaking of that,
You
just,
should be very wise as well.
yes, ma'am.
Well, there is a reason I'm queen.
Pickle, what you saying?
Yes,
just saying, so this is the technically, as far as we know, last hag we gotta, do away with. Maybe it might be smart to send word back to all the people that we've helped so far
Yeah, they're the whole army.
that they might be able to help us. But that might be something to do once we figure out, like when we're gonna do stuff, so we can say, hey, we're gonna do this thing about this time. Be there if you can.
I think that basically, if we get this a giant and start taking down these towers, everyone needs to start moving when the first tower comes down, or maybe it depends on how many we can get down.
Yeah, she's talking about gathering the friends we've made in hither and thither to come together.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's a whole bunch of these towers scattered throughout the land. Let's see how many there are. Let's go back to
We
it.
only got one giant.
It's true.
Well, maybe two.
So the question is, though, if we break the tower in the middle, it might make it harder for them to jump from one to the other because they're a certain distance apart.
5, 6. It looks like there's 7
And
by
if we
my
break the
count.
one in the middle,
7.
Yeah. So there's
Hey.
you guys are here right now. So there's I'm counting 1,
yeah, there's 7 on the
2,
1,
3.
We could tell our giant friend though that his future sweetheart is in,
4.
maybe she's captured in the castle.
We cannot just
Never lie. Say in order to get to his
7.
girlfriend, we have to do all this.
Yeah.
But not this moon one down in the middle to separate the bottom 3 from the top 3. It might put enough distance from them to
We
not
don't
be able
know.
to.
Maybe she needs
count.
rescuing.
Hey.
Change.
Yeah. So we gotta basically find the locust, the one that goes. That you said they all went to gather up at one, and there was one that shot toward the castle, right?
Well, looking at the map, you can just tell that the nearest one arcs over to the castle. Whether or not any of the others in the vicinity
They
can,
might be able to bypass, like that one. So there's 3 that are probably close enough. Okay, and I think they're gonna need all of them.
Yeah. So, but I'm saying if we knock this one down, we could watch and see if it's able to jump and still go
Yeah.
north. At least it would only allow. if it did work, it would only allow her to gain power from the 3 that surround the castle, and not from all the other 4.
Well,
Yeah.
aren't they connected with the hair?
So the hair is used as guy lines to stabilize them. Like those tall radio towers that you see when you're like out in the countryside, and they've got
Well,
like all those wires that help to steady them against the
well, if
wind
you
and
pull
whatnot.
a
So it's stabilizing towers to keep them from falling over. It's
Yeah.
not running between each one.
Correct.
Correct.
They're not strung
Oh,
between
okay.
them high tension transmission
Okay,
lines.
So all you gotta do is pull up one of them, and that tower comes down. Okay. So
So we don't have to break the cables. We just need to.
a giant needs to pull one of the cables out of the ground, out of the anchor. Okay, break the anchor, and the tower will come down. Because the way Gaiwar, how do you?
Tension.
They're all pulling in a certain
I'm going to
direction.
use my siege engine knowledge to know that if you pull one of the stakes, that trebuchet is going to fall over when you fire it. Okay, so all we got to do is pull up one stake on those. Start with that one, and quick like a bunny, go hopping over those hills as a giant can, and pull up the stakes on each one of those.
Yeah. And these stakes, like you can see. Can you see? Yeah, you can see at the very bottom. It's showing you the distance in miles between them. So these things are several miles apart. Like that the northernmost one, that moon, and the sun being the one that's close to it, they're about 4 miles apart. For example.
How far is a giant stride?
But much bigger than yours.
Well, I was gonna say, as the giant walks, it's not that far.
Who's gonna ride on the giant?
Yeah, so that'd be like maybe walking like half a mile or 3/4 of a mile. But keep in mind, this is mountainous terrain, so you can't exactly go from point A to B in a straight line.
From here, y'all should be able to see when those towers start falling. When those towers start falling, that's when all y'all need to come and migrate up, and we're gonna get word to other friends. But now we gotta go talk to that giant and tell him we got a plan.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, how about we go and we resume and talk with the giant at the start of the next session then?
Yes.
Yay!
So, and basically light it up. So hey, look, we got a plan. We're gonna go get your girl, but we got to go through this hag to get to where the girl is.
We could also have somebody.
Don't necessarily mean that girl. That's gonna be the one he falls in love with.
But he can at least try.
But
don't forget that the dandelion guy can take us to where they are, and we don't have to defeat the hag right now.
Well, yes and no. Okay, do you want a hag on your tail?
Because they're the ones that in prisons of villainous, I would guess they would want to.
So we haven't spoken to the hag here yet.
Correct.
Got tickets.
And we got tickets. We haven't spoken to her yet. We haven't gone to the castle. We can convince the giant, hey, this is one of the things we got to do to, free her. So let us take, Dandelion, and we'll go over there and check that out. And we'll also go, speak with the hag.
So, someone could actually, while all this other stuff is going on, use their ticket for a private meeting with her as a distraction as well.
Oh, your timing's got to be good on that.
Well, that was so similar to what you guys did with Scabka. You guys, like some of you guys went and had a meeting with her, while the others of you guys did some other shit.
Yep, that's quite good. But it's got to be a keep her enthralled kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing: if you just push over the towers, okay, that's going to be instantly noticeable. But if you pull up the guy wire, it's going to fall over.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to notice, and somebody's going to tell her.
She'll notice near immediately that she's a diminishing.
Well, the next time it tries to fire off, so we got to get the timing down.
So these things have been going off pretty much every hour, from what you've noticed. It seems like it takes about an hour for them to build up their charge, at which point they discharge it.
So right after they wait for it to fire, pull the stake, okay? wait for it to fire, do the ticket, do your distraction. Giant pulls the stake, okay,
And we head in.
and everybody comes in.
And while you've been up here talking with them, like you were able to see these things arcing up while you're walking over here from the mine, passing the lake again. And while you're up here, there is one of these towers that's off in the mists to the west of Lockgrave Hinge here. And you can see when it arcs off, it's going almost 10 miles before it hits the next one up. So these things can arc for quite a distance, it seems like.
Yeah.
That one, I think, but so you could probably we need to check out this one that's near the giant. And he needs to come over and kick out that one and just keep going until he takes them all down.
Now,
that's his job. Everybody else's job is to storm the castle.
The other thing is, should you and I, or you and someone that has good knowledge of layout, maybe go talk to her and find out what we're going into? Because we have no idea where she's at. We have no idea of what her.
We need a recon.
Yeah.
Everybody on the phone, who's got any ideas for recon of the castle?
I got nothing right now. My tummy's kind of being mean.
I'm sorry.
That's all.
It's a little distracting.
I
think.
Do we have anything that can fly? Rocks. Oh, storks. With the birds.
Oh, there are some cranes. You haven't
Cranes.
them
But
yet.
they're smaller than us, though.
No, they're bigger than us.
Other than the giant, they're about our size.
Yeah, he said that they're bigger than you.
Oh, that's okay. All right.
Not that we want to be riding. It depends on how much bigger we're.
So this was before Mike joined us, but you remember seeing some of these giant cranes back at that slanty tower in Hither when you found Sir Talabar. That was what they took off and woke up those giant snakes that you guys had to contend with, and those cranes were about the size of pterodactyls.
So it wasn't.
I gotta go, you guys. I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.
So the cranes themselves were not of malice intent. It's just when they took off and screeched, the snakes waking up.
Are they semi-intelligent or domesticatable?
We don't
You're
know
not
that.
sure.
But I have speak with animals, and so does Valena, and
We got a druid.
Yep.
so we could try to approach the cranes and see if they're intelligent.
If nothing else, at least get them to go and say, "Hey, can you draw some out?" No, because they don't have fingers. But you know.
Well, even if we could speak with animals, they fly around and they know this realm. They could tell us a lot about that area if we could speak
Have
with
you ever
them.
flown over that castle? Is there, what's the approach like? Is there a gate?
Have you ever been inside the castle or seen blah, blah, blah? Yeah.
Basically, whatever we can glean that might help us.
Yeah.
So, in other words, but the Corids can meld in stone all the way there.
Yeah, they could go into stone. I'm guessing they could walk through the stone at that point. They could be anywhere they
I
wanted
don't know
to.
what
If they
their
could meld
tricks
into it.
are, but we can ask them to say,
Yeah.
however y'all do your little stone trick, y'all can pre-position
At the castle.
right there at the castle.
So there is there is some additional information that they share with you that they revealed. So from what they had been from what they were under the impression of, they were under the impression that the Briganox were helping Bitter End, which is what they call Endlin Moongrave. They were under the impression that the Briganox were helping Bitter End to build wicked contraptions, and that they also hide and guard schematic diagrams for new contraptions in their mind. That's what they were thinking. They already revealed that they can't stand the noise of their mining,
Right.
which is why they're crafting those statues and hiding them outside. They do reveal that they had an earth elemental known as a Galabdur that infiltrated the Briganox mine and overheard several of the Briganox talking about the secret tunnel that connects to Motherhorn. but that it's hidden by their magic.
So
There we go.
So we take that information back to the Brigannox,
Yeah.
explain the situation to them, and find out what if any of those other stories
And
are true.
Also, I tell the Queen, this is like, they're going to be very happy to hear this, and they're going to be we're all going to be on the same team.
You've both been fed misinformation about each other to create tension and war, so that you don't rise up or have
And
power
goes
to
with
do
the discussion I
anything.
was having with your dad earlier.
That does sound like something that she would do. She is very conniving.
It's like chess. She was playing all against each other.
And she does love her. She does love her stories and tragedies. You make a convincing point. We might be able to help. We might be able to help dig up some of those guy lines that tether some of these lightning catches in place.
In fact, y'all have enough where you can pre-position, because you're stone guys. All you gotta do is one guy line, is make the stone go away, or whatever you can do your little magic. On one of those things, you do them all at the same time. Somebody pulls one, the rest all come down. We can eliminate her power grid all at once.
Oh, that's interesting. While you guys are talking, Gleam is like, I wonder, do you think that Elvish Prince might be able to help us too?
Elvish Prince.
Yeah. Remember the bridge that you came into Yan on? There was. I think you were absent.
I might have been absent, but
yeah, I think you were gone.
I've also got don't ever start anything with you. Remember, because I don't.
Okay, so this area here, you see this other lake here,
Yeah.
the bridge. So these are known as the Fey Beacons, and there's
Right, I remember that part.
Yeah, so there's a prince who says she had been talking with him, and he's being harried by a group of Paratons.
Yes.
Endolin told him that he could get home if he managed to light all 8 beacons and dive into the lake, and that would return him to the world he's from.
Didn't we start to help him with that, but we got distracted by something else?
You never guys actually made it over there.
Oh, okay.
That was you were about thinking about it, and then Mudlump came up and accosted you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he might be able to help.
Says, I wonder if you'd be inclined to help us if we can help him.
Yeah, if he helps us, we'll help him get to his world.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've got only half the players here at this point,
Yes.
so I think we should wrap here for the night.
Yeah.
And we can continue from here next time.
That's a good bit of strategy.
Yeah.
That's a lot of strategy. You guys did great. I'll have to check you.
And we didn't have to swing a sword one.
Yes.
No, you didn't. All right. Good show.
All right.
Excellent. That was
And thanks
quite
for
fun.
being able to remote in and join us,
Yeah.
Landon. I appreciate it.
No problem.
All
All right.
Have a good
You guys
night.
have a good night.
Yes.
You
You
so
too.
weird.
Bye.
Going to an empty house.
Goodbye.
At least my
Goodbye.
dog's there.